blast. The 2 times I've heard them, it's been just amazing. One was at Mike's his opening day or grand opening at the shop.
The Shop Cigar Lounge.
Shop Cigar Lounge, yeah. And then I saw him another time. I think maybe it was at the shop again, but just really just such a good feel for the music.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah. They play their own music, and then they also do cover.
Yeah. There's some of the stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because for me, it's like just the noise level. If I ever get invited to a concert, I usually say no because I want to. I just like. I like the music, and I'm huge into electronic music and cello music too, and jazz. I love it. So,
okay.
But I want to have like an experience. And if I can't talk to people at a concert. I don't know. It's
too loud.
It's pretty lame. Yeah. And that's how you know you're getting old, right?
Right.
When you say the music's too loud. So anyway, but all that to say, I really enjoyed the 2 times I've heard them. So,
that's cool.
Yeah,
they're actually family members of ours.
Oh, nice. Awesome, man. Yeah. Cool.
The Reyes brothers.
Cool.
Yeah.
Awesome.
AJ and Antonio.
Yeah.
And they're actually Sandy's first cousin's kids.
Okay,
so
cool. Awesome. They're
awesome, like
man.
nephews.
Yeah.
So when we started the show, and that's one of the songs that I loved from their album.
Yeah.
So I just pulled
nice.
Pulled AJ aside and said, "Hey man, I love the intro." I said, "Can I use it for my show?"
Do you have to pay royalties? You
know what? Just as long as they're that, and then anytime I come up with something, a hat, merch, anything, I actually had those guys on the show. I don't know if you had a chance to see it, but it was such a blast because usually when they're invited to come on to a podcast, a show, or whatever, it's usually just the 2. And I've had the 2 brothers on, my nephews on, and I told them after having them, I said, you know what, we got to get the fellas, everybody, got to get everybody. And so we planned on a Saturday morning, which that was the only time they could all actually join us here. And so they came in, and I had them sit around. Had a blast. They had fun. They're like, "Oh, we've never done this." AJ, Antonio.
That's awesome, man.
Those guys do it all the time. Since they're the head of the band.
Yeah.
And then I said, "Hey, would you guys like to play?" I said, "Oh no." I said, "If I would ask you to bring instruments, would you guys play for me in the studio?" They're like, "Oh yeah, I think we could have." It's kind of a little small, small here.
That's all right, man.
And I said, "But you know what? Better yet, let's do this." And so I aired up some instruments for them. And and there was a bass, there was a keyboard, there was a guitar, there was some drums.
That's awesome.
And I handed him the instruments.
And then played the song.
And then I played the song, and it became a music video.
That's awesome.
So, and like I say, it was so much fun, and I felt like I was their manager, sitting here just watching them go, each one of them do their thing, and you ever get a chance, take a look at it.
I will.
It's hilarious, and when I show people, they just kind of laugh and like, wow, that was pretty damn good.
That's awesome.
Funny.
Yeah. I have been since you asked if I would come on, the 3-peat cigar, like that was a labor of love. Like that, I got too big, cigar company. I can't, I don't touch every cigar now because I couldn't. I could supply one store, one lounge if I did that. So, but I was, I was banning every cigar. I had them in the barrels, opened the barrels up, pulled them out. I was banning every cigar. I was putting them in cellophane. I was putting the barcodes on, and it was so intense. There was like 1,000 of them. It was just shy of 1,000 of them.
Yeah.
I mean, the cigar was it was such a phenomenal cigar. But like, had such high hopes. We see the obviously the name Triple Barrel Aged 3-peat. I guess I should take a step back. The cigar that I'm talking about is. It was the most recent like limited release that I did, but I took 3 whiskey barrels and I separated all these cigars into 3 batches, and every few months I'd rotate them. So they went through all 3 barrels, every cigar did, and then pulled them out. Just got to check the moisture content and bring it to appropriate level, and then go. But the name Triple Barrel Aged 3-peat, right? It's just a play on words with a 3-peat that was coming up. I actually had it was kind of a loose project that we were planning with Brian Chaney at Bubbles, and we couldn't get that one. We couldn't execute that one as we initially discussed. So I kind of went on that road myself and pulled it out. But every cigar, man, it was labor intensive. So anyway, that was a big point of my time draw. And we'd be sitting watching TV, my wife and I, and I'd be banding and cellophaning and barcoding, and I made her help me too. She still
that's good
references that I put her to work. But
that's funny. Real quick then, before we go any further, because we're definitely going to get into that cigar. I'm gonna go ahead and intro the show real quick.
Okay. Yeah.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Big Modcast. We are the Big Modcast. There you go. Way to work, cousin. All right, thanks for that. Yeah. Sam, do you know how to do our sponsor reads?
Yes. Are we ready?
Yeah. Go ahead. This podcast is sponsored by Quinn Concrete Construction. The company motto: no job too big or too small. Whatever your concrete need is, they have the experience and the professionalism to ensure a quality job every time. For a free estimate, call 913-279-1448. That's 913-279-1448 and ask for Joe Quinn.
Okay, back to the main segment.
Well, there should have been two of them.
Oh, sorry.
This episode is sponsored by Goal Fire Protection. With over 26 years of fire sprinkler experience, Goal Fire Protection has built our livelihoods on established relationships and providing quality fire sprinkler systems. From retrofits, remodels, service, repairs, new installation, and inspections, simple to the extreme, we can help you every step of the way. No job is too small or too big for our knowledgeable crews. For your free estimate, call 913-441-3390 or email us at gochoa@goalfireprotection.com.
Are we good? Okay, and real quick, what I want to also do is all the other sponsors that have helping us, give them a shout out. I'll start off with ER Lawn Care, Smokecraft Barbecue, Tony Rod Screen Printing and Embroidery, M&D's Family Recipes, and we have Acme Brass as well. Thanks to all of those sponsors that are helping out, keeping the show going and rolling. Yeah, thank you, cousin. Appreciate that. And and I also have here to my left, I have my cousin Chewy, Jesse Descendis. He's joined us this evening.
Hello, everyone.
And since we're kind of shorthanded today, which is okay, and Sandy's running the board. Thank you, Sam, for running the board. But
hello, everyone.
Yeah, and before we get any further, let me introduce our guests. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome our guest, Mr. Devin Ashley. Welcome to the show, brother. Thanks. Thanks for being here.
Yeah, thanks for having me on.
Yeah, I'm glad you were able to join us. Take the time. I know we had a rough start. It smells good. It smells like coffee in here. Definitely, we'll get into the coffee thing. I try to get. So here's the deal with that. I have a coffee maker. Okay. So when we talked earlier, you said if I had a coffee maker, I'm like, oh, definitely I do, and it was put away, right? So,
dude, I could have brewed a thermos and brought it down.
I know, right? That would.
Sorry. Yeah.
No, it's all good. So then my son. So then for Christmas or whatever it was, I ended up getting. I went to the. How do you say it? Keurig?
Keurig, yeah.
How do you say it?
Keurig.
Keurig. I don't even. I'm still.
Theo Vaughn has a hilarious bit on the Keurig. So Google Theo Vaughn Keurig. It is hilarious.
I will definitely do that. So I tried. So I'm trying that now, and I don't know. Is it a faster way? Is it a lazier way?
There's definitely convenience to it. Definitely.
There is, right?
But I feel like all that type of stuff, it takes away the craft, though.
Okay.
We actually had we've Steven and I, my coffee company business partner, we had discussed producing Keurigs, but it just I don't know. I really feel like those types of things take away from just the. Man, I don't know. Maybe it just makes it too quick and too impersonal. But I don't know. I like I have an espresso every morning. That's how I prefer my coffee. Tamping. I've got a Gaggia Classica and a Brazza Burr grinder, and I grind the beans, tamp them, pull that shot of espresso, pinky out, sipping on it.
See.
Okay, hang on. All of this is above my head right now.
And
I don't drink coffee, and now with that new machine you have, it's become this extra stuff, and I'm just used to you just doing coffee, and now it's different.
And what she means by the extra stuff, it's taking up more room on our counter.
Extra is better. Extra is better. My wife always says I'm extra.
Yeah.
So, cousin, I know you drink coffee as well. Do you use the Keurig or
no? I use the mocha pot.
Mocha pot.
Yeah, the boiling that filters through.
It's like a percolator, or
no? It's a stainless steel pot with a plastic handle. It's got a little flap lid.
Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah.
And you unscrew it, and the water goes in the base.
Okay. Maybe I don't know.
Yeah, I sure don't know. I don't know that.
It holds the coffee in the filter, and you pour it after you grind your beans.
And it comes
for
up
mocha
and down, so like it's like a little basket.
It
and then
percolates
it goes,
through and into the chamber.
Okay.
So
that's
when you talk about, I go through that process, and it's about a 11, 12-minute process.
Yeah.
Getting the water fresh.
Yeah.
Getting the coffee ground and put it in the filter, and then screwing that back on perfectly because it's stainless steel, so you have to get it just right, or else the water just comes out running out. And if you don't get it on there right, so it becomes an art, and you're involved in this process.
That word right there.
That's
the art.
the word. Yeah.
That is it.
It's the art of the brew, and I get involved, and I set it, and I love hearing when it starts to percolate and come through. And into the little pot.
And the smell.
And the smell. Yeah, oh, my goodness. My apartment smells like that when I get home.
That's awesome.
And so, yes, I love drinking it. It's almost like espresso style.
Yeah. My nares right now are like permeated with Guatemalan Ocho Rio. It's a direct trade. We get our coffee actually from we're starting to source our coffee from a woman here in Kansas City. So we've had some cupping sessions. Global Citizen Coffee Roaster is I guess is what I should throw the name out there. Global Citizen Coffee Roaster is the company, but we just bought a bunch of different beans to kind of play with, and we had a cupping session this morning. And like I joked with Steven, like last time when we did a cupping session with her, I had like that aroma in my nares all day long, and it happened again today. This morning we had a cupping session and checking out some different. We're working on our espresso blend, which will come out soon. I'll show you guys after. But my buddy Manuel had a tattoo on the back of his arm. It said "Make the most of everything," and it's got a coffee pot in it. And so I had my graphic artist like redesign that, and so that's going to be our espresso blend name and logo. It's pretty cool. I'll show you.
That's cool.
But it's the aroma.
So I still cannot figure out. So I go to Scooters for my coffee, and I love the hot mocha lattes. That's my drink choice right now. I was getting every other, I appreciate you bringing coffee because I'm definitely going to try it, and I know my older son he'll enjoy it as well.
Awesome.
That's another story. That's as I began with the coffee maker and why it. Anyway, so I was buying coffee, and I'm like, man, I need to start making this at home. So then I got that machine, and I make my own lattes. I still cannot figure out what an espresso is. What is
it a Gaja, like the La Cordon? What's the machine that you're using?
See, you just said 2 words, Devin, that I have and we are going to get into that. One of my topic is the lingo.
Okay.
Terms and lingo of the cigars and of coffee.
Okay. Cool.
But I don't know. I don't know. Maybe you could give me a lesson after our show.
So espresso is just like So there's like a few things you need, but like different from regular coffee is the grind. It's got to be an espresso grind, so much finer. And then you put it in the portafilter, which is the device that goes up in the machine and locks in place.
Okay, right? Yeah.
But you got to tamp it first. So you got to get it like kind of compact, like the coffee puck has got to be set in the portafilter. And you lock it in and you hit that button. So there's got to be like the bars of pressure. I always thought it was like 20, but I guess it's like 8 or 9, or not 9 is specifically it. But pushes it that pressure. The water is pushed out through pressure through the beans, and then there's all sorts of things beyond that you're looking for. Like, are you channeling somewhere, or is it coming straight through? And there's also it gets so fancy with like the portafilter. You can have like a naked portafilter on the bottom, where you can. It's really cool if you get down and you watch the coffee coming out evenly at all the places, in that crema is just mixing, and then it gets in that cup, and it's like that cascade effect where the CO2 is coming out. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful
that is
thing.
so funny because that's all he does. He's sitting there looking, trying to figure it out.
I do that, but this is the Keurig machine, and I put the cup in, I close it, and then it gives me option. Do I want coffee or do I want a latte? So it's all coming through that. No matter what I want, it's still coming through this little cup.
So you have like a frother, like a milk.
You got to add milk to it.
Yeah. Now, that's on the side.
Okay, cool.
And that's another thing. But see, I'm losing my hearing, so I can't hear if the damn thing's on. And then I walk away. I come back to it. I'm like, did you already make my coffee for me?
Is it ready?
I look in there. I'm like, it doesn't look like a whole lot. Shit. So I do it again. I open it, close it, hit start, hit. So it's just crazy. And yeah, everything you said earlier was like whoosh, going right over my head. Yeah. So yeah, I'm still trying to figure that out. It's crazy.
Coffee, the psychotropic effects of coffee are like, I mean, it's one of the biggest industries in the world. You know, I mean, people are chasing that. You need that energy, that zing. You know, you need that to get up and go and get your day on. So,
So, how far back does this go for you? Like, when did you start?
Yeah. So I would say I've been a coffee snob for like 10 or 15 years. Steven, my business partner, and by the way, we were talking today, we have a Shopify account now, so people can buy our coffee online. Okay. So globalcitizencoffeeroasters.com, and we'll make a link to that Shopify account. But when will this go live?
It's a good question, because usually when we shoot on Wednesdays, we put it out Friday morning.
Okay, cool.
So
we'll have it set up.
Okay, yeah.
We'll have it set up in a few days. But it's, I mean, the Shopify account is live, but we have to connect it to our website. So
yeah. But and I apologize. You did ask me that earlier.
Oh, that's all right.
And I just totally.
No worries, man.
Yeah.
I told. Okay, so a long story long. That's how I operate, man.
Yeah.
So Steve and I, we had our cupping session this morning. We were talking about it, and we almost like he had the Shopify account, like he accidentally activated it. He said, and so we thought about like kind of pulling it back, but then I said just leave it up. So anyway, we wanted to know when it came live to make sure that link was available. If somebody wanted to get some coffee, yeah. But I want to like a big point of what we do with Global Citizen Coffee Roasters is James 127. It's to take care of widows and orphans in their distress, right? So we feel he and I feel personally like called to do that. So we have a significant portion. So it's 10% of the purchase price, which is way more than 10% of the profit. That goes to widows and orphans. So our first project of last year, some of the bags that we sold, it wasn't a whole lot because we were just up and running, but we still feel like give the God what is God's, give to Caesar what is Caesar's. So we want to pay our taxes, but we also want to do a respect with what God's given us. So long story long, as I said, we give that money into last year. Went to the Fraternal Order of Police, the FOP in St. Joe, where we live. They started this this gap fund. So if an officer were to fall in the line of duty, the insurance method, and God forbid this happened, but that insurance piece, it takes some time to kick in, like a month, and there's funeral costs and the bills still come in and all that. So this gap fund will be to kind of help families kind of make ends meet during that time.
Okay.
Maybe I should add to my wife's dad was a state trooper, and he was shot and killed when she was 12.
Oh my goodness.
So I don't like to say like directly affected. Well, it did. It was it's a very personal thing for our family.
Yeah.
And we kind of see how that happens. And the Masters program, Missouri Association of State Troopers Emergency Relief Fund, or something along those lines. We, my wife's family, it changed the landscape for them after Bob passed, Robert Kimberling. But so we feel very responsible for. We want to make sure people have that
awareness.
I'm sorry.
Awareness.
The awareness. We want to spread that, but we want them to have the resource if that were to happen. So. So that's kind of like one of our things, take care of widows and orphans. And that looks a lot of different ways. It could look as like the family of a fallen officer. It could look like a kid in Nicaragua that's digging through the dump to try and find money or something to eat or, whatever. And, as I have these conversations, I kind of, my own interpretation of how that looks changes. But, currently I'm not worried about if there's something a need that is out there and God knows that he needs somebody to take care of it, just drop it in our lap, and we try and answer the call, so to speak. So,
okay.
Yeah, Global Citizen Coffee Roasters. So you can drink coffee and know it's going to a benevolent cause.
That's cool.
So.
Yeah, and then you say how long you guys been doing this?
So we established the LLC in February or March of last year.
Okay.
But we didn't do it. So cigars again. I was kind of pushing Steven we got to do this now and get it up and going. And then cigar season hit, and I was just I kind of pieced out for 7 months. So we had the LLC, didn't do anything with it until the fall, and then we started roasting a lot more. Got beans on a bulk level, and just kind of took off last fall. We've got a few different blends. We do single origin as well as some blends now. We just continue working on the blends. The espresso blend is what we're working on right now, but we also have a Hearth blend, which is our kind of our winter seasonal, if you will. Then some other a lot of regions now, but we started with Nicaragua, Kenya, and Costa Rica. But we've got a lot of Guatemalan beans and Ethiopia and Brazil, and so we're just trying with different blends. So it's just a fun process. It's something we are passionate about, we enjoy, and so we're just kind of taking that into building something. What's your legacy when you die? What's going to be left? Who's going to be affected in a positive way? And I try and get that to guide a lot of my decisions. There's a finite amount of time in life, and I always say what you spend your time on affects other people, and it defines who you are. So what's your legacy?
All right. Quick question in terms of the beans. Do you travel to the other countries then to kind of start that relationship to? Not
yet, but we just I don't know how Steven got in touch with her, but there's Uga Yetz or I'm going to butcher the name. We met with them. We did a cupping at their facility.
Okay.
It's in Kansas City, over off of North Oak traffic way, on the east side. Is that on northeast?
North.
Yeah, north. Okay. Yeah, so we went there. We had a cupping session, and we're going to start using their coffee because she does direct trade. So with fair trade, that's a great concept, but even the little tiny coffee farmers that want to be considered fair trade, they have to pay it's 6% of their of some of their annual fee to have that stamp, right? And so direct trade is directly from them. It's cutting out I don't want to say cutting out, but it's in our interpretation of it. In our interpretation right now, it seems to be kind of a good way to maximize their life and what their livelihood is doing. So to answer your question, we will eventually we'll be able to go and meet the farmers directly. But right now it's just kind of just again developing the blends and kind of identifying which beans we're going to use. But all of or a good portion now, maybe half the beans we're using are from direct trade sources.
Okay. Yeah. Well, once you make that trip, you will be ready because you know some Spanish. And so that's going to benefit you, right?
Yeah. Yo hablo español. Tengo mi título de español.
Yeah. No, that's awesome.
Don't know if there's much of a Spanish customer base, but
yeah, it might be
confuse a few people.
But yeah, I thought that was pretty cool when I'd listened to you on the Strawberry Hill. Shout out to Strawberry Hill podcast. I heard that you spoke Spanish. And
yeah.
Thought that was cool. And then earlier you guys were talking, or we were talking, and you said your girls. You have 3 girls, right?
3 daughters. Yeah.
3 daughters.
Yep.
And
I forgot to Ollie. Thanks for the cookies.
Oh yeah. We'll get him here in a little bit. Yeah. Yeah, thank you for the cookies. Oh, that's our camera over there, by the way. Yeah,
okay, up there. Okay,
yeah, and this one's yours right here.
I got you.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So the Spanish, do they want to learn, or what's going on there?
Here's my take on that. If they want to learn or not, I wouldn't care because I would talk to them only in Spanish. And I'm as I was chatting earlier, I really gave them a disservice by not only speaking to them in Spanish. I have no excuse. But it's just kind of like the ease of communication in English. But man, but all 3 daughters, they're super bright and just excel at everything they do. So Piper is in Spanish now, or I'm sorry, she was. She doesn't have it this year, but I think she kind of. She had a blast with it, and she's a freshman, and so they were more excited about the days when they got to watch The Lion King in Spanish versus
that's cool, yeah.
versus do any sort of classwork. So
yeah.
Or I think that's what I was a high school Spanish teacher for 4 years, yeah.
Okay.
And that's the movie that I played. But I was I was not there to play movies for them. I was there to teach them Spanish and to inspire them onto like bigger and better things in life, you know. So maybe once, maybe twice, they'd always try and like get me to have a movie day, but I'm like, that's not where we're going. We're gonna actually learn the material and so
was it high school you were teaching?
Yeah,
or,
yeah. Yep.
So when you would introduce yourself to your class, how would you say your name?
Oh, Senor Ashley.
Oh, just Senor.
Yeah,
okay.
they called me Bad Ash, which is where the cigar company partially came from. So
that's a badass dude.
Bad Ash,
say, right?
yeah.
That's pretty cool. Yeah, you know, backtrack a little bit. How was your past weekend?
Past weekend?
How was it?
Oh gosh, man. I mean, I'm still okay.
Are you still hurting?
I'm still hurting. Yeah. So
Okay.
it's, for everyone that is listening to this, months out, the Super Bowl 25 just happened, and I was crushed. Okay.
Super Bowl 59.
59, yeah. Or I meant like 2020, 2025.
Oh, 2025.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
Well, it's like technically 2024 year, but
True. Yeah.
so I am embarrassed, and I apologize to my wife and daughter. I was so irritated, and let me take a step back. I got to take a big step back here, man, because like
Okay.
I did not have value in sports until the first time I saw Mahomes throw football.
Oh my gosh.
Really?
So I grew up the son of a biologist.
Okay.
Right. So we weren't tossing the ball around. If we were ever like, we were not in a soccer field or a baseball field or a football field. We were in a prairie field looking for rare prairie orchids or counting crickets in a cave. That was my, or in a lab, you know. I wasn't, and, you know, honestly, like I'm glad, you know, because I think there's value in sports now, and I see that, but it's not necessarily something I chase after. But it wasn't for the entertainment value until I saw Mahomes throwing a Tyreek Hill back in, was it that 19 or 20? I don't know.
20, 21, yeah.
Yeah. And is it true that Tyreek Hill's coming back?
I haven't heard that.
Okay, all right. I heard that he was coming back. Maybe somebody was just pulling my leg.
Was that in a meeting you had this morning? The cupping?
Well, with the Chiefs, we were talking about it, and I was asking why they didn't smoke my cigar. So I didn't have value in that until a few years ago. So like for me, it was seeing that and the way Mahomes played and just the magnificent, like these just crazy plays. Like I don't know, maybe it was commonplace, but it seemed interesting to me. So we have a group of people, couples, we'd get together and watch all the games. But so I had this cigar that I prepped, the triple barrel aged 3-peat, kind of play on their words. I released it 2 weeks before the Super Bowl to celebrate the season. I shipped 3 boxes to Harrison Butker's coach. I have a buddy who's friends with him. He coached his son. And so we kind of set that up, and he was going to pass them out in the locker room after the game. And I was so excited. I was about to retire from my nursing career because I was going to make all this money with cigars after they were seen smoking it. But I joke on that. But really, like I just took it personal. I was crushed, and after halftime, I was so irritated. I was starting to prompt my wife and my kids to leave the Super Bowl party that we were at. It was so selfish of me, you know. And like my wife was watching the game, she was into it. We were all like crushed and like just irritated. And it is what it is. I mean, you know, the Chiefs, they gave it all, but the Eagles just kind of came with a little bit stronger hand.
Right. One of my questions here was I was going to ask you, when did you throw in the towel? Obviously halftime.
Yeah, right after halftime. So what I think the camel that broke the straw that broke the camel's back was when my middle daughter said, she's like, I have homework to do. I should have brought my homework. And part of me was like, yeah, why didn't you? And then the other part was like, this is how we go home.
Yeah.
So I went upstairs, was like, Nora's got homework to do. We need to go. And I insisted, and my wife kind of argued, and I'm like, let's leave. And I feel like, I don't know, just a jerk. Like it was a bad move. So the next day I apologized to both my wife and my oldest daughter, who were there enjoying themselves. And Piper, she's like, it's okay. I got to go to bed early. So it's just the craziest thing what freshmen go to
So
bed
you
early.
left. Did you continue to watch when you got home?
We did. We left.
Hoping that comeback was going to happen.
Yeah.
Did you put it on the radio on the way home?
It was on the radio on the way home.
Okay,
my wife had a heavy foot driving, and we got back.
How did she feel about it? Was she pretty upset?
I don't think she was as upset as I was. Okay. But I still woke up today just still feeling like down. And I mean, 2 days of just like this emptiness. It's so silly because like I said, like sports weren't my thing, you know? So yeah. But I had a whole different level of investment in it this year.
Isn't it amazing how us who can sit there and watch football, watching these young men play football dictate our life.
Yeah.
You know?
It's wild.
You know, it's yeah.
Yes, us wives want to know that answer.
Yeah.
You know, there should be some like you know, I don't know, benevolent philanthropist that's like helping kids in, you know, Sudan find families that we should be honoring. And
I know, right?
I will say this: a lot of the athletes they do have really great you know, funds that they put into. And I saw something. It was really it was a nice post. There was somebody said something about like, why did we boo Taylor Swift? I'm not a Swiftie, but she's, you know, my kids love her, but like people were booing her, and then somebody's like just listed off all the amazing things she's done and how she's changed people, and like, you know, I mean, that's totally true. Like I should have, I didn't boo her, but there was maybe like an excessive amount of like focus on her and Kelsey's relationship. But I have 3 daughters, you know, like you know, I want my girls to grow up knowing that they can do whatever they want to. And she's, you know, maybe an example of that. They have what seems to be a healthy relationship, the two of them. And why boo her? Like,
yeah. I you know, a lot of it was just, I mean, the Kansas City Chiefs became the team to hate.
Yeah.
Recently, you know.
Yeah.
And now that they didn't win the 3rd Super Bowl, now and it's crazy because now I'm hearing Chiefs fans saying, it's time to get rid of the coach. If he couldn't do it.
What?
Yeah, exactly. Wow. That's what I said. Get rid of the coach and let Travis retire. Let him go because he didn't do anything for us anyway in that game.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah,
they need to bring Tyreek Hill back.
I said that myself.
You know, yeah, and I think Tyreek. I don't think he would, because he just apologized to his team because they're at the end of the season. He told the Dolphins, "I'm done. I'm out of here. I want out."
Right.
But then here recently, he had a meeting and he apologized. Yeah. It was just one of those, you know. It's like, but he sees all his old buddies out there still playing football, and he's packing up his stuff. Yeah. You know. Yeah. But yeah, I honestly don't see him coming back.
And honestly, like you know, knowing just like kind of the values that I see kind of being expected from the Chiefs. Tyreek Hill maybe doesn't have those, you know.
Right.
So, you know, and who am I to judge anybody? I think he was part of the duo that made me like football. But you know, as I was kind of speaking his praises, I think other people were like saying, "Oh, I'm glad he's gone." But you know, it's neither here nor there. Not for me to decide. But
yeah. So where are you originally from?
I was born in New Hampshire.
Really?
Lived in St. Joe my whole life. My dad was a professor at UNH. My parents met at UNL. University of Nebraska Lincoln. He was working on his PhD there, and they met. My dad's from Ashtabula, Ohio, and my mom's from Lincoln, and they met in Lincoln. Went up to UNH for his first job. That's where I was born, and then moved to St. Joe, and he was a biology professor at Missouri Western State University for 35 years, retired, and we stayed. He's retired in Springfield area, just south of Springfield, but I try and visit with him every time I can.
Yeah. Siblings?
I got a sister and a brother. So. Okay.
Yep. You're the middle.
I'm the youngest.
Oh, you're the youngest.
Yeah. My brother's a half brother, but you know, as we grew up in separate houses, we're still, you know, brothers. You know.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then my sister Megan, she's lives in Ozark as well, and she gets her husband has a Summit Specialty is their family business. It's masonry products and whatnot. She can stay home and you know, work inside the house. They say, right?
Yeah,
house mom. So, but yeah, it's you know, my wife is she's a nurse as well. I'm a nurse by trade, but you know, then there's these other companies I kind of have my hands in that have kind of defined the trajectory of our life and kind of the direction we're going. But
so you're still a nurse.
Yeah, still a nurse.
He said he almost retired, right?
Yeah,
he
the Chiefs
almost
had won, and they got to pick that instead of Jalen Hurts smoking that cigar in front of
the trophy. Yeah,
the trophy. If that was Patrick Holmes, and then they zoomed in on the band, the Badass Band.
Yeah,
that's what you were hoping for.
Yeah.
And do you remember when I texted you and I asked you if don't let Pat Riley? Did you ever Google him?
I did. I guess he's got like a
the
copyright.
Yeah, he trademarked it. Yeah, he copywrote the three-peat.
The three-peat.
He did that. He did it in the 80s.
Yeah. And I had no idea. I was again, like, I'm so far removed from sports. It was a connection for me.
Then that explains why when you asked me who's Pat Riley, I thought, okay, you actually Google him.
This guy doesn't know who does sports.
And so I mean, okay, they didn't win and they didn't get to smoke your cigars, but maybe they did. Maybe they.
Yeah, and honestly,
maybe they're going to put them in a case and said, you know what, we're going to smoke this on the next three-peat.
Oh man, and it would be like just the comeback of all, but just that things don't normally work that way. But
and that was just a hard thing to do. I mean, it's never been done, so the pressure was there.
It was on,
and do you think there was a jinx that they didn't win?
I don't know.
I'm not saying you.
No,
but,
no, absolutely.
Everybody.
No. I think, man, I just, from, again, like a non-sports analyst opinion coming out, I really feel like the Eagles just had their game and they just brought it. And,
they did.
Man, I feel bad for Patrick. He got sacked so many times.
And what's crazy is the Eagles did exactly what Tampa Bay did.
Yeah.
They just went back and said, okay, how do you beat these guys? And let's just watch what these guys do, and we do the same thing.
Yeah.
And that's what they did.
Yeah.
And everybody says, damn, I feel like I'm watching the Super Bowl from 2 years ago.
Yeah.
It's
such a feeling of emptiness just talking about it, man. Like, you got to start all over, for that three-peat. But
what was your question right now, Mario? What did you ask? If they were...
was it a jinx?
A jinx.
Yeah.
I just think that I don't think it was jinxed. I mean, I'm not superstitious on many levels, but there's you talk about like being a nurse. Like do more mental health patients come out during the full moon? Well, I mean, if the moon can make like tides go in and out, like why can't, if we have electrical activity in our brain, why can't it maybe people that are more sensitive to those things like have it affect them?
Yeah.
I hear that more women are birth children during a full moon. If it can move waves in and out, like why can't it do something to us physically? So, but So anyway, I'll say I'm not superstitious. I think it just the game that the Eagles brought was better than what the Chiefs brought.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I hate to say that, but I feel like that's my interpretation of, again, a non-sports analyst talking here.
Yeah, so. Well, because you showed me a video of voodoo. Somebody with a Patrick Mahomes doll and just putting pins in them.
Yeah, did you see that?
No, I didn't.
Did you see that, cousin? There was some lady. She had her little Patrick Mahomes voodoo doll.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh my gosh.
And the voodoo doll had his hair and everything. And she's sitting there. She's rocking. She's going. She's just stabbing the back of it, and then the person behind her was sitting there videoing like, "Oh my God, check out this lady!" They're at the Super Bowl. Yeah, she was just going. She was just going to town.
Yes.
She was at the Super Bowl.
Yes.
Wow. Oh my God.
And then of course, a lot of people are saying Mahomes went into that game pretty cocky because he showed up there to the stadium in a dark green suit.
Really?
Yeah, he was wearing Philadelphia dark green with the white shirt. I don't even know if he had a black tie but he was in green and white.
No kidding.
And they're like, wow, this is pretty ballsy that this guy's just coming in and, and then someone said, and Travis Kelce came in looking like a 70s pimp.
Yeah. I did see that.
Did he? I didn't see that one.
He had some suit, looked like it was a 70s.
Really?
Yeah. It was good.
Before we get any further, would you like another?
Yeah, I'll take another.
Yeah, we can do it real quick.
I'll add while you're doing that. I'll grab. So we took the. So Jay has the cigars still. He's got 3 boxes of the three-peat, and I hope he and the players can like enjoy it on a time of reflection and. I'm not gonna ask for them back. I mean, like I want them to smoke them. I want them to enjoy it. It's a phenomenal cigar. all that barrel character, like the vanillins and the oak and the caramel. I mean, it's just so much going on with it. So
that's typical of all of your cigars, or just that particular one?
The barrel aged one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
We ended up. So as I said, well, I don't think I said the barrels. So I had I'm a silent partner in Parkway Distillery in St. Joe.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So I kind of invested in that. Thanks, man. Appreciate
You're
it.
welcome.
And so we used a Parkway bourbon barrel, Redline. So Taylor at Redline, solid dude, like just a great guy. He brought a barrel up for me from his distillery, and then we had the Blue Note bourbon barrel, and I've had some really great success with the Blue Note barrels, using those in some of the barrel aging projects. So shout out to Blue Note, man. If you want a good, like, reasonably priced whiskey that's just solid and won't just like leave you. I think some of the distillate that comes out is just like, it's maybe poorly done, and it'll just give you like that headache the next day. Like after like 2 glasses, Blue Note's a really great option. Kind of funny story though. Well, I don't know. Do you want me to tell this?
Please.
Any story I tell is going to be like a 5-minute deal or a 10-minute deal.
No, you're good.
Okay, so I owned a brewery back in the day, Liberty Cap Brewing Company, right?
Okay.
So that was in St. Joe. It was the first brewery since the Belt Brewing Company. So anyway, when I was involved with that, I was into the beer scene, you know, and there was a Facebook group called Beer Tasting KC, and everyone they'd post their rare finds, and people like, oh, where'd you get that? And there was this joke called. There's this joke. It was the Bubbles VIP, right? And so there was an Oriental guy that owned Bubbles at the time, and so so then people start showing up at Bubbles, saying, "Hey, I want I want to be in the VIP," and he's like, "No, you shop at Bubbles, you VIP." You shop here, you'll VIP. And so it was like kind of the thing. People kept going, trying to get into his VIP club, but it didn't exist, right? So anyway, fast forward a few years. I'm into whiskey now, and Brian Cheney bought it. And there was kind of this like closer knit group of people that would go down there and kind of help just pick his barrels for him, you know, like some really good guys. They had a really good taste, and I lucked out to just get involved with them, you know, and so I would go to these groups that would go and help with the barrel picks, and like I was then calling it the Bubbles VIP group. But so anyway, we unanimously, the first time I had a Blue Note, it was unanimous no. And so like I went to like on that particular barrel, went to Springfield, and I'm like, asked, hey, what whiskeys do you have? And they said, well, we got this this Blue Note bourbon. It's a store pick. And I was like, man, the last time I had one, it wasn't that great. And he's like, this one's pretty good. And I went and bought it at his recommendation. It wasn't Macadoodles, it was Brown Derby in Springfield, and it was so good. So every time I see a store pick, I buy one now, because it's just it's a home run every time, or a touchdown if you know.
Right.
But it's a touchdown. So I used a Blue Note bourbon barrel. It was a store pick from Hy-Vee. So there is also, in addition to the Habano that I had aged in kind of dark, well, physiologically you get wrappers wet, they stay wet, they ferment a little more, so the wrapper gets darker, so it can come out of Maduro. But that Habano that I put in there, it on top of the shelf that I had some of my GQ and GQ Maduro, and that we aged. That was kind of like a Hy-Vee exclusive. Another lounge has gotten one since, and so there's a few more out there, but. Anyway, this is solid stuff. So if you see like the Blue Note barrel aged GQ Maduro, it's a great find. And then also of course the 3-peat.
So you will have the 3-peat cigars for sale. I mean, you will be, or was this just for that?
That was just for the
game.
It was to celebrate the Chiefs season.
Okay. Did you keep some? Do you have some?
Oh yeah.
Because I believe you and Mike smoked one on his
show. Yeah.
Okay, that's what I thought.
The Strawberry Hill podcast. Yeah, that was the first. That was the first real, like, it's done and it's ready and it's phenomenal. I mean, even Mike
that was like, the prototype.
That was like the end product, like one of the first ones I had pulled out of the barrel.
Okay.
During the, so you pull them out, and if they're sometimes they come out pretty like 100% humidity. Like I've had them before, man. The Silent Season I did with Restless Spirit, it had like probably wasn't a gallon of. It was a lot of whiskey in the bottom. Actually, I had to take some out. But it was so just just rich in character, But so they can come out a little damp, so you got to dry them out. But that was what Mike and I smoked was like one of the first ones from the batch. There was like just shy of 1,000. I've got maybe like I just today being the 13th, just dropped off one of the last bundles at the shop today. I had a lounge who was going to make a purchase in Jeff City. I couldn't get him to pull the trigger. I had the order already, and it was kind of an issue with like getting a bill sent and paying it quickly versus mailing a check. And anyway, so I went ahead and those bundles are up for grabs. Last of the batch, it'll be gone very shortly, and then it'll only be at. But I'll tell you what, there's if you didn't get one in KC, there's a few floating around. Still, you can check out Sherry's Executive Lounge. The shop got the last bundle today, and then Classic Blends may have some left. But in St. Joe, there's a vape shop called Super E-Cig Shop, and he's got this massive walk-in humidor that's very well kept. Everything's clean in there, and he got the lion's share. He took 6 bundles of that. Yeah, so he still has. I was there today, just kind of touching base with him, and he still has a few of the bundles left. So if you didn't get them in KC, up in St. Joe, they're still available. Weston Tobacco has it as well. I don't know. I stopped by, and I think he's sold out too, but I didn't see it in the humidor at least. So
okay. So if the Chiefs if they had won the game, they would have smoked these. It would have been a big promotional deal for you.
Yeah.
And then you would have continued to make them.
So I won't ever make. This is like one of those like seasonal things, like limited release. It would be really hard to recreate.
Really?
It.
Okay.
But what I would do, actually, my website is up finally and running.
Okay.
www.badashtobacco.com. So if you checked on the website prior to like last week, you would have seen coming soon and a picture of me holding a bundle in my humidor, my walk-in humidor. But thanks to Jared Hart, he's the guy that works at. He's heavily involved with Sherry's, and they've got some really cool like stuff going on with like modeling. Like they have people come in and do photo shoots, and I just was stopping by and like got to be involved with one of them and pass out the. It was kind of a cool deal. But anyway, Jared kind of set me up with a web designer, and was really kind of prompting me to get the website up and going before the Super Bowl, so that we can make like a list to retrieve names and email addresses for a reservoir of people that would. We have it again. Hey, here's your chance to get the cigar. Jump on. So
it could have been one of those things where, again, if they would have won, they would have been smoking. You would have been seeing videos. Yeah, the Badass cigar, this awesome, and then people out there would have said, "Oh man, I want one of those cigars."
Yeah.
That'd been cool. Well, I mean, if they're still out there, which, ladies and gentlemen, those cigars are still out there. You can find some at the cigar lounge. The shop cigar lounge, it could have been, just a thing. I'm not trying to rub it in.
No,
on
I got no. Yeah, no.
But it's just maybe someone will buy a few and say, you know what, the Chiefs had a chance to smoke these. I'm going to put these away.
Yeah.
I'm going to save these.
Yeah.
Who knows?
I need to get a hold of Jay and see what he did with like. Did he end up passing out?
Yeah,
those boxes?
You should. Yeah, and say the big Modcast is looking for some cigars.
And I got right here, man. I got some with you.
Okay.
So, maybe I'll just go and pull one out just so we can show it on camera.
Oh yeah.
So
yeah,
I got a new company that is doing. This is actually one of the GQ Maduro. GQ Maduro is the cigar, but aged in the Blue Nut barrel. So this one here is pretty special. But then, maybe I don't. Huh? I gave one away at the shop today. Maybe I gave away the.
You gave away the 3.
I got cigars for you though. Don't worry.
Oh, okay. Thank you. See, because this is what I've been smoking here. It's just one of the fake ones.
Yeah.
It's just a prop.
I'm gonna open up and eat one of these cookies that my daughter made. You guys want one?
Oh yeah, you want a cookie?
Yeah.
Yeah, pass it on.
Thank you.
So she used like almond extract in it, so it's pretty tasty.
Yeah, pass it this way.
We were talking about cigars, and what was the last thing? So I want to see what they did with it, and hopefully they got to enjoy it. Hopefully it was an appropriate time, like not a celebratory thing, but like just like a kind of reflection thing, for the day.
Yeah.
So.
No, that's cool, and yeah, like hopefully they did receive them and say, well, at least they were there. Maybe some of them kept them. Maybe they're gonna keep them for themselves and smoke them.
Hold that out to show the band. That's what I was going to say. The band that I did. So cigarbands.com. This guy Nico makes a solid product. Like just a beautiful band. It's full. It's embossed. It's all the things that to really just bring that like the Good Life accessory to life. That's what I involve myself in, the Good Life accessories, the whiskey, the coffee, and the cigars, and the cookies.
Yeah. Wow, these are really good.
Yeah, it's that almond extract that she uses.
It's a good thing my nephew's not here because he doesn't like when we eat on the show.
Oh, for real? So when we eat or what we eat?
When or whatever. He just doesn't think it's professional to eat.
Well,
you know what, nephew? You're not here.
Oh, Isai?
No, it's my nephew, Jose.
Okay.
He's our EP, yeah.
So... I will say this. I watched this. Shout out to the Cigar Authority podcast. There was an episode where they paired cigars with. Man, I don't even know what it was, but it was just that. It was. I couldn't finish the episode because they were like chomping into and like smacking into Dave the main guy. And I will say this: if this man has done more for the cigar industry than anyone could ever thank him for.
Well,
oh my gosh, mad respect for the dude. And then Mr. J, who is one of the co-hosts. He's it's just like a great group of people and doing a lot for the cigar industry and like just promoting education and legislature and all the things. But anyway, this was one episode where they were like smacking, and I texted Mr. Jonathan. I was like, "Dude, you've got to never do that again." I couldn't even watch the episode. So here I am eating cookies on a podcast.
Well, it's all good. This is the first. I've never had to wash down a cookie with whiskey. That's pretty hard to do. Wow. Yeah. So let's we're already into your cigar business, Badass Cigars, located in St. Joe, Missouri, right?
Yep.
What was it that inspired you to get into the cigar business?
So my first cigar was I didn't have it's kind of I don't know, it's ironic, it's coincidental, it's whatever. I feel like I have that's another half an hour conversation. My first cigar was so actually, I was in the Dominican Republic. We went on a mission trip down there, and we were on the beach last day. There's some guys selling cigars. I was like, I'll buy some for my brother-in-law, right? And bought like a 5-pack and then a one single vanilla cigar. And I got back
and you knew what you were buying, or you just said those are cigars? Boom.
No, I had no idea. Okay. I knew it was a cigar, but I had no idea what makes a good cigar. Like I didn't know anything. I had no cigar experience except celebration and like the Good Life accessory and like kick back and light up a cigar, right?
Yeah. The cigar that you're given after somebody just had a kid.
It's a boy. Yeah, it's a baby. It's a boy. Yeah. And so I bought the 5-pack in the single, and then. I got to home. I was living at home still. Or I this must be after I moved. Okay, so I moved out at 18, moved back home for a few years, bought a house, then moved back home, and I think it was right before I bought that first house.
Yeah.
And so I was living at home with my parents and went out on the porch one night late and just tried to smoke the cigar. I didn't know what I was doing, and I was like, this is like kind of like this is great. Like things are calmed down. I'm contemplating things bigger than myself, and I'm by myself. And
did you get that buzz?
I did.
Yeah.
I did. I got a buzz. Yeah. And tossed it in the yard, and the next night I had another one. So I
thought you were going to say the yard was on fire the next one.
Well, actually, for the longest time, I collect things. Okay. I had,
as you can see, so do I.
Yeah. I had every single cigar band that I smoked for like the first 8 years.
No way.
I've got a book, and I would glue it in there, and I would write what I was doing. Even
really?
So there's this place, it's called Sunbridge Hills. It's like a conservation area, and I would go, and when I was in my early 20s, I would go watch the sunset right out there on my motorcycle, like do this trail, watch the sunset over the bluffs, have a cigar, head back. And the second cigar I had was there, and I tossed it into the brush. Well, I was like, I should probably keep these. So like a week later, I went back, found the butt, took the band off.
Okay.
And I have that, like the first and second cigar I ever smoked. Anyway, so I didn't. I was a casual smoker. I'm still a casual smoker, but so I ended up. I was a teacher, right? Eventually, I have cigars occasionally. And I'm a teacher. I have a humidor, and then the cigars are in that. When I was a teacher, I had this group of kids that were kind of like the alternative kids that would come over or come to my room on Fridays, and we had a hacky sack club that we started. So it was kind of a way to kind of inspire them to stay in school. They didn't have like the academics, they didn't have the theater, they didn't have like band, they didn't have those things there was no reason for them to be at school. Like they wanted to be out doing their thing, skating or whatever. Nothing to keep them at school, keep them focused through the week. So I started the cigar club for them. Hacky sack club. Hacky sack club for them. So, and then we ended up like
we'll go ahead and we'll edit that part out.
Well, hold on. So we ended up we did the hacky sack club, and then they would come over in the summer and play Halo. There was a video game like
I remember that. Yeah.
So we'd have Halo tournaments, and then one of them was like, he saw my humidor and he's like, hey, when I turn 18, I want to have a cigar. And I'm like, yeah, right, dude. I'm not gonna have a cigar with one of my old students. Right?
Yeah.
He wasn't my student at the time, but. So turns 18, he's like, hey, man, let's have a cigar. And I was like, well, all right, man. So we went to KC, Outlaw, had a cigar there. And then the next month, he was helping me hold some brush. And then I bought us some cigars. And I'm like, man, we talked about it. We should do this once a month, you know. So the first Wednesday of the month, for the next 5 years or so, we would have a cigar every month. And then he moved to KC, and we have families and work. And it would be like, we started a cigar club. We'd have like we had 85 people once when we had a whole hog roast.
No way.
When I announced opening the brewery, there was like 60 people there. So we would regularly get 30 guys that would come, have a cigar, roast the pork butt, and we would just do this once a month. And we continued to do it for 10 years. We called it Clubo Puro, right? And when Chris was, if there was a chance where like we met and he wasn't able to be there, he's like, you guys didn't have El Clubo. You just that was just a casual beer and cigar night. Right. Well, at the 10-year mark, he's like, it's too hard to get up from Kansas City. I can't. Let's quit on our terms. So he stopped coming regularly at the 10-year mark, and so now it's called Casual Beer and Cigar Night because he's not there, right? So, but so we do this for we're in our 15th year now, meeting once a month for a cigar.
That's cool.
So that's my cigar like connection, right? So. Okay, so I'm a nurse at the ER. I'm working in a charge nurse role, sitting at triage, and COVID happens. Well, it's not like bam, it happened. It was like COVID comes on. Well, all of a sudden, people are like, I don't want to go to the ER. That's where all the sick people are. Yeah. Right. And so I'm sitting at triage from like 1 a.m. to 4 a.m. and no one's coming in. So I'm like, I wonder. I'm rolling these cigars. I've been rolling cigars at this time, right? Because like. I find that if I like something, I kind of dive in head first, and then I sort out the details later. So sitting at triage, doing the kind of like, what am I going to spend my time with? So I start looking at like how to license a cigar company. And because I own the brewery, Liberty Cap Brewing Company, I learned the TTB pathways, in taxes and licensing and all that. So I just kind of like followed the same thing. And if I didn't know what a form was, I'd send an email. Hey, what's this form and what do I need to do with it? And then I'd send that email, and then the next night I'd have a response. And so I'd fill out the forms to license my cigar company sitting at the triage desk. So that was kind of like the cigar entry. Hindsight is 2020. I probably would not have named my cigar company Bad Ash because it was a joke with my students. But it was a joke to go that. But now it's kind of like it's becoming a household name. I mean, it's got such a following in KC and the Midwest that it would be almost like starting over if I pulled the trigger and renamed it something else. So.
Yeah. So what was it, cousin? Was it 2 weekends ago when we went to the cigar lounge?
Yeah.
For Leo's birthday.
Yeah.
Right. And so cousin Jesse was with me, and I sent you that picture. I said, and then this is the cigar, because I knew you were going to come in. So I said, I need to try one of these. And dude, it was so good. And remember, I even said it was nice, light, mild. Yeah. It was really, really good.
Yep. That's the Nicaraguan shade.
Is that what it is? Okay. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So definitely need to get me some more of those. But it was really good because I'm more of the flavor guy. You know, I like the cherry or a little bit of grape or vanilla. Mm-hmm. You know,
I have 4 infused lines, but the main one that I did was I called the Mauve Palette vanilla latte is kind of what I was going for.
Okay.
So then that was like, well, that sold really well, and then or sells well. It's, as a matter of fact, it's the highest selling of all my line.
Okay.
Including the infused, but then my non-infused, the GQ Maduro.
Okay, so infused means
the flavors are infused into it. So,
okay.
Yeah. And there's like different processes. I mean, there's proprietary things. There's like common things, but either way, they get the flavor into the cigar. So it's got vanilla latte is kind of what I was going for. The vanillins and the roasted melanoidins from the. I mean, nothing's roasted with it. I mean, until you light it, but the fermentation process makes that darker, that melanoidin process going on. So I guess it technically wouldn't be a melanoidin, but anyway. And then I have the. So we got the mauve palette. Then I did the emerald palette, which was a mint. A mint. I was going for like Girl Scout the Thin Mint cookies, you know. Mm-hmm. But it was really more like a mint chocolate chip ice cream.
Okay.
Yeah. So there's that one. That's a seasonal release. Then I did the crimson palette was a seasonal release initially, but it sold so well. The first round sold out in like 3 weeks, and then I did like a second round of 40 bundles, 2,000 cigars. Sold out in 24 hours.
Wow.
Or it was reserved or called for in 24 hours. So it's now a full line. I'm getting ready to release like, hey, it's here again. You want it? Like, buy it. So, but it's going to be a year-round cigar. It was initially just going to be like a seasonal thing. But then the last one I did was a pumpkin spice latte cigar. The crimson palette is cherry, chocolate covered cherries is kind of what I was going for with that. But people say it's like smoking a cherry Dr. Pepper.
Nice.
So, but then the pumpkin spice latte, I call it the ochre palette. Ochre is in like that orange fall color, right? So PSL, basic bitch, all the fall things, right?
Yeah.
So, so anyway, it's those are the infused ones. So if you like the infused ones, matter of fact, I've got a few in here. I'll leave with you. So.
Nice, yeah, I'd like to try those. What sets your business apart from all your competitors? Is there?
I picked the wrong time to take a bite of.
Sorry.
That's right. So again, like your nephew said, it's probably inappropriate to eat on the show.
Although he'll be editing this, but
okay, cool. So there's a few things. So like I really. It's like when I was with the brewery. I think that the thing I wanted more than anything was to pass that beer to the consumer. You know, if I like something, I jump in and I do it, and I want people to experience it. Like coffee roasting, for example. Here's another story. So like I have a friend. There's this girl at the hospital. Her name's Desi, and this story probably won't resonate with her, but she actually was there with a friend in the ER. We walked I was like, hey, I'm gonna go grab coffee. She walked with me to the cafeteria, and we were talking about it. And I was like, yeah, I've been roasting my own coffee beans. She's like, and she's from I think Moldavia or maybe Romania. Anyway, she's got this accent. She's like, Devin, I'm so good at roasting coffee. I was like, what? She's like, yeah, like where I come from, in the morning, kids would go out on the balcony and roast coffee for the family for the day. So they had like probably a flame in a glass tube or maybe a cage, and they would just roast the coffee beans, you know. And she's like, I'm so good at that. That's how all this stuff used to be, right? Like, well, maybe not cigars, but like the things were like, it was a local product. It was made by somebody in the area. You probably knew the person that made it. We're so far away from that. So I really enjoy like, providing those things, providing a product for somebody to consume or to enjoy. And then like seeing like the joy on their face or like the excitement, you know, it's addictive, you know. So I feed off that, you know. Yeah. For example, I was in a humidor today, and some kid and his I take it was his wife. They were they were in the humidor, and I walked in. And I was like, hey, there's cigars over here. That's a local company called Bad Ash, and he's like, oh yeah, I know them. I see him at named off a few places, and I was like, okay.
Was he correct? I mean, see?
Yeah. But then I said, hey, did you hear about this one from the three-peat? Because there's a box of the three-peat there, and he's like, oh no, I didn't see it. And I told him about it. He's like, oh man, that's really cool. And then he looked at, I had my jacket on, a different jacket. And he's like, oh, are you are you part of that company? And I was like, well, I started at the company. I'm the owner. And oh my gosh. And he kind of, fanboyed me, but it was cool to he had his like wife take a picture of the two of us standing in the humidor, like it was just cool, like,
with the 3-peat cigar.
Yeah. And dude, this is something that was really special. I had a customer reach out to me on Facebook, and she's like, hey, this is so and so. I bought cigars from you a few months ago, and for my husband, he really enjoyed your cigars, and she's like, I was getting ready to kind of talk to you about getting some cigars, and she said he tragically died in an HEV accident.
Oh no!
And she goes on to talk about how like the cigars brought him a lot of joy. It was one of his favorite things in life. And so like when they buried him, at the son's insistence, they buried him with like his favorite beer and my cigars.
Oh,
wow.
Nice.
I mean, just like wow, like what a special, like huge thing, and it meant a lot to me, and so I said thank you so much for sharing that. I'm so glad I was able to provide like some enjoyment to life, and I think that kind of like answers the question, like what sets me apart. Like I'm wanting to get that to my customers. You know? And it's not. I don't need this company. I make money with as a nurse. It's like I'm at the point where I made more money with the cigars this year than I did as a nurse. But I don't know. It's my joy. And I think what Mike from the shop one time told me. He said he's like, I think your cigars sell so well because you're there with the customers. They get to meet you. They get to know the owner of the company. So
and that's how I met you. I don't know if you remember.
Yeah. I remember we were sitting standing in the pathway at the main pathway, the main aisle at the shop, and you came up and showed me the business card.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So and you know what? You're right, because I thought it was cool that you were there and you were rolling cigars. Did you roll it? I didn't get to see
probably.
Yeah, because I know you had your setup there.
I don't recall the events, but I do, or which event it was, but I do roll. If I roll frequently, I'll roll there. Do an event there, like an on-site rolling, promoting the brand or whatever it is. Yeah.
Okay. Yes.
No, we're good.
Okay. Are you going to join us over here, Sam? Okay. Like I said, I thought it was really cool, and it was cool to meet you there, and so, yeah, to meet somebody that actually has a cigar, and to me, I started smoking cigars. I played men's fast pitch softball.
Oh, cool. Okay.
And so in between games, I was smoking cigars, but I would go on to just online, and this was before Amazon. I would go online, and there was some just cigar company, and they would just sell all kinds of, and I just say, I want a dozen of all mixed, just trying to figure out what I liked, Eventually, I found a cigar, a Grey Cliff.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, there was something, those are light, mild cigars.
Yeah, it's been a while since I've had one.
Yeah, I don't even know if they're still around.
I don't know if they're either. I haven't seen them. I've not seen them at a lounge.
At work, I still have one of I use one of their boxes for like tools and stuff like that. Yeah, Grey Cliff cigars. And I thought they were good. And then from there, I just started moving on to other cigars, and then I got into the infused ones, and so those are the ones I like. But I mean, of course, like I said, the cigar that I smoked here of yours was really good. So,
yeah, awesome.
So
glad you like it.
I'm glad.
I'll leave a few of these with you guys to try out.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Are you considered as an aficionado? What how you say aficionado?
Aficionado. Yeah.
Aficionado?
I mean, I would consider myself a cigar aficionado.
Yeah.
Anybody that has like that affection for aficionado, it's this affectionator or aficionado. It's somebody who enjoys that product. Yeah.
So how about Hawkeye? You heard that?
Hawkeye, no, huh?
Yeah, it was just doing some research, and Hawkeye is labeled as a cigar maker or a one-man shop.
Really? I've never heard that term in my life.
Yeah, they're considered as Hawkeyes.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
No, I guess so being a cigar manufacturer, I have that manufacturer license. I also have a retail license for the side. Just want to do I funnel all the business, all that I can, the business into the lounges. But that woman I was chatting about, she's like kind of out there in Nebraska somewhere. There's no lounges near her, so I have the retail license for those things. But I really want to support the brick and mortar. I do not have an online shop. I don't have intentions to have an online shop because I want, for me, cigar. Okay, so the shop, Sherry's classic, the perfect example. Like you sit down in a circle or a square, whatever the shape is, but you're facing each other. You're not in a lounge that is massive with a bunch of leather chairs facing one direction.
Yeah, you're like at an AA meeting.
Yeah. They hit to a big TV. You're in a circle. You're fostering conversation, relationships, talking about whatever comes up, and then maybe sharing drinks. It's just chill, and that's what you can't get that online. So I do not have intentions to ever have an online shop. That's not my. There's a marketing piece to it, but like I really want, and I will appropriately, if I can, sell to people that are 21 or older, if they don't have a lounge around them. I made a few sells this past month to people that were far out there that had no lounge that carried my cigars around them. But that's my intention is to support the brick and mortar. So
that's good. Do you ever host or do you do pop-ups? Is that a thing?
Yeah. So like at the shop, or
but how about like at a carnival or something?
Oh, so the Renaissance Festival.
Okay.
So they only sell Bad Ash cigars now.
Nice.
Yeah. So last year,
that's awesome,
dude. It's been huge.
Yeah.
And so the kind of like the deal was like I had to blend a cigar for them. So we ended up I had maybe I think it was 8 different blends that we kind of worked on, and so I sat with like a council of like 10 people in this tiny room at Cigar and Tobacco, and we just smoked I'm surprised I didn't get sick, but it was so much smoke in there. But we all got together and sampled these cigars, and they kind of chose 3 possible blends for what will be the proprietary Renaissance Festival cigar. This is kind of like, I mean, I hope Kami doesn't get upset with me, but for releasing this. But at the Kegs and Eggs event in April, we're going to have 3 packs available. So I commissioned a certain number of each of the 3 that we chose, and we'll have 3 packs for sale. And so then there'll be a voting process to choose the proprietary cigar for the Renaissance Festival. I have this beautiful band that Nico with Cigar Bands will cigarbands.com will do, and I'm really excited about it. So it was kind of like take me on. I'll provide you with the cigar. It's yours, and so it's going to be. I'm pretty excited about that.
That's
so
cool.
Pop-up events, yeah. Like I'll go and roll. They actually have the cigar cart, and then my buddy. So he goes by Larry Leiter. Maybe Leiter's his last name. I don't know. But so I met him at the Renaissance Festival. We've kind of kept in contact. He's on my phone as Larry Leiter. But so he was kind of in charge of the carts, and I think then there was they have like a donation they make to like a Kansas City Symphony or something. But anyway, they run their cart. They sell the cigars, only Bad Ash, and all the blends will be there this year again, and we'll also have the proprietary Renaissance blend. It'll be developed by then. So we're getting ready to pull the trigger on, because it takes months to roll the cigar, to blend it to kind of age it out, give it time to rest. You don't want young tobacco that has got that ammonia feel in it. So
So how long does it take?
months.
Months.
So, yeah. So like the process itself of rolling is just like it's hours. Like, but it takes. So you had asked about maybe rolling some right now, and I tell you again, this past since you asked me, I've been nonstop with work shifts, with going to my parents, with just all the things that have kept me from just going about. How do I put this? Not going about my daily business, but just things that would focus on like cigars, right? But these are all things important to me. I have to work. I really have priority to see my parents and to spend time with my immediate family, with my wife and kids. Yeah. So I wasn't able to prep the tobacco yesterday. For me, it takes. So you want to prep the binder, spritzing with water. Do that maybe to feel good about a binder for me is like a day and a half of spritzing it every once in a while. I could probably like speed that up and do it quicker, but about a day and a half, spritzing it 3 or 4 times, putting it back in bags, letting the tobacco leaf cells, kind of like reabsorb that moisture. So wrapper or binder and wrapper. So you do the binder, then you bunch it, you put it in presses. It can sit anywhere from like 2 hours to 2 days, depending on what you're going for, or when your event is, or which time is. And then same thing with the wrapper that you prep, and then actually the wrapping itself, maybe like I've got it down to like 2 minutes per cigar, 2.5 minutes per cigar. Nice. Bunching is about the same. So it takes, when you get a full from start to finish, it's multiple hours, but it's like the aging process then, because when the tobacco gets wet, it starts that fermentation process again. Mm-hmm. You got like tobacco stacked on top of tobacco, oxygen and anaxic environment, no oxygen. So it starts that fermentation process. That's what does make it makes it a little bit darker. But one of the byproducts of fermentation is an ammonia production. Mm. So that ammonia, I've always kind of joked, like, you know, when you have an ammonia and you have cedar, right? Cedar from the humidor, mm-hmm. right? What does that remind you of? Well, it reminds you of your hamster cage when you were a kid with the cedar shavings.
Yeah.
So you don't want that. So you want to stay far away from that. So you let it air out. You know, many humidors will like leave their bundles out. Just make sure there's a way to ventilate that ammonia out of the cigar itself while it's aging. So,
okay.
But a few months, you know. But the tobacco itself is years old by then, 3 to 5 years old. So,
okay.
It's sit in big bundles, and they ferment, get it to the right kind of state, and then dry it out. And
so it sounds like you have this down to the T. Like
this
just trial and error.
Yeah.
Did you?
Okay, that's one of my favorite. I love cooking. My wife is such an amazing.
Let me guess, you're a chef too.
Yeah. So yes, I love cooking, man. It's like why not be able to cook, right? No, like if you can't cook, like do you actually live? Like I mean, people that say they can't cook, it's like, well, have you ever just tried baking chicken? That's where it maybe starts. Like put barbecue sauce on and put in the oven. Mm-hmm. If you overdo it, then cook it less next time, you know? Mm-hmm. So really there's no excuse in my opinion not to be able to cook. But so cigar blending is like learning to cook all over again. Mm-hmm. So when I've told the story multiple times, but like when you're first learning how to cook, you're like, okay, I got this like salt and this pepper. I'm gonna maybe sprinkle on this chicken and see how it tastes. And maybe there's not a lot of flavor in that. I'm gonna add some garlic powder. Oh wow, that's interesting. Oh man, what else do I have? You know, you start going through the spice racks. And, oh man, paprika. What is that? What's that gonna do to this chicken dish? You know, so it's like learning to cook all over again. So you find out like what tobaccos will provide what flavors to the cigar, and there's also like the physical construction piece, which is important to like find out where you want to put the lejero leaf. It doesn't have a lot of combustibility, but it's got a lot of flavor. If you put it on the outside, it's going to burn weird. You got to make sure you get it on the inside. So there's a whole set to like the construction of it as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's cooking is it's like kind of like learning to roll tobacco again, or rolling tobacco. Learning the leaves is kind of like cooking.
Speaking of cooking, what's your go-to dish that you love to?
So it's such a simple thing, but chicken parmesan. Honestly, it's just like that. If you got a really great sauce and like the crunchy breading on the chicken and the marinara sauce,
okay.
Or the
so
cheese,
so that's the meal. Okay,
or chicken pad thai.
Okay, what about what's your favorite breakfast, lunch, or dinner?
Oh man, my wife could tell you, like she could probably point it out, but because I'm so like a creature of habit, there's 2 things I'll do for breakfast. It's either a bacon and egg sandwich, no cheese, and I say no cheese because like an American Craft single is not cheese.
Wow.
Have you ever burned one?
An American Craft single? Like I
have you ever tried to catch one on fire?
I was gonna say, I imagine it doesn't burn.
It doesn't.
Yeah. It's not cheese. I don't know what it is, but it's not cheese. So, but like, yes.
What'd you say? Silicone. Oh yeah.
Well, I mean, look at it. Like cellulose is one of the things that. Well, that's in grated cheese to like prevent clumping. You know, like we do way too much stuff, way too much processed food.
Right.
Mark Huberman Lab podcast. There's like episode like 90 something. It's like from 2022. there's this guy that talks about like processed foods, and it will change your life.
Really?
Yeah, like 80% of the diseases that we have in America are caused from the processed foods we eat.
Right.
Look, check it out. It's
Yeah.
wild.
No, I don't want
it's
to.
wild.
I don't want to.
Yeah. So to answer your question, bacon and egg sandwich, and then also a the other thing I've been doing lately, and we were just talking about this last night. I haven't done it for a while, but the past 2 years, I mean lately, is we get like fresh tortillas from the La Tienda down the street, and I'll toast them, and then I'll just like take an egg and onions, peppers, and various things, tomatoes. Just kind of saute them in the pan. pour the egg in there and kind of mix it all up. Put some cotija cheese over it, and maybe some cilantro if I've got it from the fresh from the garden. That's probably why I haven't done it like in the past few months. It's because it's like winter. Our garden is like non-existent. But
I bet you can roll some burritos.
Oh, dude, it's the tacos, man. The tacos.
Yeah.
The tacos.
You
man.
got a process going. Watch that. Roll up these burritos.
I was doing
Show you a thing at
like
Chipotle.
saute or like an enchilada where you fry the bottom, then you flip that burrito over and fry the top.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we just had some good burritos last weekend actually from Maps Coffee Shop, and they're here. Was it Lenexa?
Lenexa.
Yeah,
cool.
we went there actually.
Saturday.
Yeah, but it was smoked crab barbecue.
Oh, smoked crab.
Smoked craft.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
okay.
we actually one of our sponsors.
Ah, cool.
Yeah.
You said
He has his own barbecue spot, and he does it at Arrowhead and Kauffman
nice.
Stadium.
Awesome.
Yeah,
awesome.
so him and he's teamed up with Maps, a gentleman named Vincent who owns that place. They make burritos every so often, and
Cool.
Yeah, made some really good burritos.
Cool.
What were they? Pork and shredded brisket.
Nice.
Yeah,
Yeah.
really good burritos.
Yeah.
So yeah, you mentioned you toast one that side and you toast
Dude,
the other.
like why?
Really good stuff.
Why do people like fast food? Like why? It's fake food. Like just make something. Like it takes you just as long to wait through the line because their staffing is horrible to actually make it.
Yeah.
So no one has an excuse to not cook, to not be able to cook. So,
Right.
yeah. Just try it. Burn it a few times, and it'll be better the next time.
Yep.
Yeah. Let's see, what are some of the biggest challenges you face as a cigar owner, cigar shop owner? I mean,
okay.
Is there any or
it's a funny thing because like I don't there are challenges, but ultimately like what am I doing? It's like I have like a product that no one needs. It's if you are smoking cigars, you have dispensable income. Same thing with coffee. Well, same thing with coffee. If you're buying craft coffee, you have dispensable income.
Mm-hmm.
So and again, it's not like my livelihood. So everything I'm doing outside of it is building this company that like will ultimately support my family and like allow my wife to stay home from work and kind of run it on the side while she raises our kids. So. Struggles are one of the things that I've found in the cigar industry is trying to like sell at a new lounge. That's kind of difficult because they don't know. So I was a travel nurse for a while, and I traveled up to Des Moines, and I had like 4 shops up there that would the Leaf Brothers cigar, Iowa Cigar, and then like a Wall to Wall one.
Okay.
They all took me on. So, but I was like I was up there every other week for a full week, 6 days up, 8 days back, 6 days up, 8 days back. Yeah, and so before my shift, I would work nights. I would go in and I'd smoke a cigar and kind of BS with the owners. Mm-hmm. They all took me on. Developing that relationship is key. Being present for the customers to experience you. I'm nothing special. I can talk to people well. That's why I'm now a good mental health nurse. I left the ER after 13 years, and I find fulfillment on the mental health unit. But I can talk to people well, and I think that's one of my strong points. So if I can talk to somebody and explain like what we're doing and like what our goal is, I think it's usually kind of a thing. But it's like just being present with these people and like making the sell. So I got to go to these different lounges and sell. But then there's also like the online presence that my social medias have kind of put forth. You know, funny story. I was at the shop, and then I was at the shop and
the cigar lounge.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, the shop. Yeah, and then so Jack Tarano came in with like his local rep, and Jack Tarano, like big deal, you know. Yeah. And I didn't recognize him. And Mike and the rep and Jack were all sitting there and chatting, and Mike said, "Come over here and sit down." So I you know, dropped off the bag and came over and sat down, and you know, Jack stood up and, "Hey, who are you?" "I'm Devin Ashley. I'm Bad Ash Cigar Company." He's, "Oh, I think I've heard of you online." And then I was like, "Oh, cool. Who are you?" And he said, "Jack Tarano." I was just kind of taken back, like.
And you said the same thing. "Oh, I've heard of you online."
Yeah, no, I was like, "Dude, I've heard of you, but have you really heard of me?"
Yeah.
I'm really local to the Midwest, but you know, just that online presence, you know, is kind of a thing that I don't know, kind of just points people,
yeah,
you know, in the direction that they want them to go, which is to the lounges, you know, and about what we're doing. Yeah. So.
That's cool.
But just getting to meet them, you know, that's one of the things that I excel at and kind of bypasses that difficulty. If I can just meet them, you know, it's a good thing.
Yeah. Okay. So, you know, good stuff, by the way. Yeah. Really good stuff. Before we go on to our next segment, explain to my co-host here your logo, because I know about I know about your logo.
Yeah. So I frequently, people are like, "Is that like a Medusa?"
Can you see the logo? I mean, it's
on his jacket.
Yeah, right on the jacket. It's on his hat too. And
you can pass it over to the camera if you want.
Yeah, that's his logo. That's his logo there.
So I used to draw. I would write a lot, and I would have like just, you know. I don't want to say poems because that just sounds weird, but like literature, stories, you know.
You're like a rapper.
Yeah, it's like a rapper, right?
Yeah.
So, but I used to.
You see it, Sid? Not yet. I'll just throw it to her.
So I used to have dreadlocks, and my hair was about.
Did you?
See, that was the reaction I was kind of hoping for.
Oh, okay.
Maybe I should just.
Pull my cousin here too had dreadlocks at one time.
Yeah.
I had the. Flock of Seagulls.
Yeah, you familiar with the Flock of Seagulls, an '80s band?
I'm not, no.
Yeah,
but it sounds.
Well,
awesome.
Remember in the '80s,
awesome.
They wore their hair real high and whatnot.
You see it?
Yes.
It's probably all blurry, Sam.
Oh.
Flock of Seagulls sounds awesome.
Yeah. I mean, there's even an episode. There's an episode of Friends where they went back in time and they did that.
I got a funny picture on my.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, well, you'll have to send it to me. We can put it.
Okay, cool.
If you're okay with that.
Yeah, absolutely. It's like the inspiration from my company. So the dreadlocks. My hair was about that far from my waist before I let it go.
That's crazy.
And by let it go,
you used to tuck it in your pants.
Yeah. It was, you know, if it was just a little bit longer, I probably could have. But it was like that far from my waist, and so
kind of like the Derrick Henry, right? You familiar with the running back?
Well, he just had one dread, didn't he?
Well, I think it was all dreads, but I think it would all
like kind of came together.
Came together and
like
wrapped up with cellophane and.
Maybe that's how he.
And barbed wire or something like that.
That's why nobody wanted to.
Yeah, I know, right?
So I've got this picture here, but when I let it go, like we sectioned it off and like kind of backcombed it.
Hey, let me take
with it. Beeswax, all the things, you know. And so
wow,
yeah. So
that's
like
cool.
it was that far from, and it got so natty and so dreaded, just like it tangled up. It shrunk to about like my pec level.
Really?
Yeah. So this is the spiritual representation of myself.
Okay.
So that's when I would write, I would have these.
That's a T-shirt right there, man.
Yeah, man. Well, it's just. I mean, it. Well, I would unzip my coat, but it's not. This is just the work shirt. But I do have a design with it on the shirt.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Not my picture, but this picture.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah. Anyway, so it's so I had this writing that would go with the logo that would go with the writings, or this picture of myself, but they were very intricate and very like, it wasn't commercialized, right? Mm-hmm. It was very like elaborate drawings, and you know, like it was kind of hard to like differentiate like what's going on. It was very busy, but so I had a graphic artist in Kansas City like commercialize my logo. Mm-hmm. So she turned it in. I said I wanted it to be like gender neutral, and then just like a face. and then the dreadlocks, and I had like, I ran a ceramic studio up in St. Joe, teaching people.
Man, he's just a man.
I know.
Man of many traits. Yeah.
Yes.
Teaching people how to like throw pottery.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know, on wheels and like build stuff and like just.
Where, and you did this in
St. Joe.
In St. Joe.
It's a place called Sticks and Stones. It's like it's closed now, but it was a.
Is it true though?
Yeah.
I mean, no, I'm saying sticks and stones.
Yeah,
do they really
bones?
break your bones?
No.
I got it.
Is it true? I don't know. I just.
But so the owner, it was a landscaping company, but the owner like just he was like near retirement. He's like, I just want to like throw pots on the wheel all day. So like he bought like a bunch of like 5-6 like potter's wheels and converted a room in his warehouse to like there was like shelves for drying things. There was a kiln. There was like clay. There was a clay mixer. You know, all the things. So, and I had a class in high school, and I had dreadlocks. I fit the picture of this person, right? You know, and so like
majored in pottery.
Yeah. And so I ran that for a while, and that was probably the coolest.
You know that explains the hacky sack.
Yeah, right. It's
Did you skateboard?
I did. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. That was my crew, but.
Okay.
So I did that. So I made these beads. I would make beads for my hair, like just like I still have a few of them. They're really cool, but like
that's right. You collect stuff. You don't throw stuff away.
Yes, I do. That's correct. Yeah, I had 14 dreadlocks, and they were massive. And I had these beads, like with just like this huge. I'd have to get my hair through that and like slide it up, you know. It was just, and it was heavy, you know. I was also rode motorcycles at the time, and oh man, I had to get like a double XL helmet to fit my dreadlocks and all the beads. And like every time I put that helmet on, the beads would be poking my head. But I didn't care.
They didn't have that hole in the back where you could just bring your hair.
Yeah,
like they do baseball hats.
You should invent that.
Right.
So were the dreadlocks before the wife?
Yeah. My wife would not have talked to me if I had dreadlocks. Yeah, this is a joke frequently. You know, there's all this stuff about like I'm bald now, obviously the hair regrowth. I'm not going to, but we joke about like I joke about growing my hair back and dreading it up again.
Can you? Can you grow back?
I don't know. I mean, like
try it.
It would be fun, but what if it like adjusts my testosterone levels and then I have no drive for anything?
Right.
I just I'm good. It's part of my image, I guess.
Yeah.
So. Yeah.
No, that's cool.
But
yeah.
You do have to do a lot of explaining because that does.
Yeah, it's not me now.
Yeah.
It's like I was a different person. No, I was the same person with many different faces, not fake faces. I represented many things. You know, and same person. It's just just don't have the hair to kind of exemplify. I tell you, man, I got numbers all the time. Like girls were always, when I had the dreadlocks, always like I was in the checkout at Lowe's and the cashier would slip me or not. I mean, it was crazy. Like I had so much attention.
Really?
Yeah. There's this one girl
just pulling left and right, huh?
There's this one girl that watched me walk into class every year for like 2 years. She had a desk.
We're recording.
Yeah. It's all right. It's nothing weird. There's nothing weird. I'm not.
Okay.
I mean, I got to tell you the further down stuff. But she watched me walk into class every year for 2 years, and then finally went on this trip to Spain, and she kind of we got to talking, and it was a whole other story. But
She was attracted to the dreads.
She was attracted to the image.
There you go.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wow,
she had an office job down there. Yeah.
That's cool. That's good. When you were teaching, did you have the hair?
No, I had hair. Like it was about that long. My long hair was gone.
Okay, but you still.
But I was a very clean cut all American boy at that time. And
this is cool.
And then
we're talking about hair now. We went for cigars, coffee. Now we're talking about hair. Okay.
And then again, my wife would not have talked to me if I had long hair during the time. But no, she's my wife's awesome. She probably would have. I would have wooed her. Swooned her? I don't know what's the word I'm looking for. I would have wowed her.
Yeah.
There you go. Yeah.
But but it was and then she was it was starting to kind of develop on her baldness. So she's like, lucky for you, I'm attracted to bald men. So she convinced me to shave my head. So. And then
And then the stash, you kept the stash.
Oh, this kind of forget that I have this.
Yeah,
I thought
you were a cop.
Oh, you don't usually.
No.
Oh,
no. This is just the glorious thing that I chose to grow for this season of life.
You need to let them handlebars come down, right?
I did, man.
Yeah.
I got a really cool picture from me rolling at the Renaissance Festival last year.
Oh yeah.
It's like I always change. There'll be a beard, then it'll be a mustache, and then
That's cool that you can do that though.
Yeah, different style. Yeah. But usually I have a beard.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. So where at the Renaissance Festival are you located?
So the booth, the cigar cart is in the middle. It's in the middle, really.
Yeah.
It's in the middle. But there's when I do rolling events, like I'll do 3 or 4 during the season, but I'll come and just close to the cart. There's like there's like a little wooden platform, and then I just sit up there.
Okay.
Throw down a tablecloth and roll cigars, and people just kind of gather around and kind of explain, hey, you can get my cigars right over there. And
That's cool.
Yeah.
And then people walk around smoking cigars. Are people able to do that there?
Yes, they can.
Yeah.
So the owner wants to have the experience of like things that you make, like nothing plastic, but real things that are made that you can experience on site. They want to see people rolling. They want to see people dyeing clothes. They want to see people.
I'm glad you said clothes right after.
Yeah, dying after getting jousted off a horse.
Yeah.
No,
that was
like
crazy to watch.
Clothes.
I remember seeing that. I was like
The blacksmith, hammered a sword or something. He wants that. That's what he wants to kind of put forth. And so.
Can't wait for the dragons to come in. That'd be cool.
Or just people dressed up in the attire of the day. It's really like, it is wild, the gusto and the passion that the people have for whatever their craft is. You know,
right.
they bring into the show.
So how did you get that job though? How did you get connected?
So Cammie and
it was the dreads.
No, that was a long time ago.
Oh, that's right.
Cammie and so there's like the top 2 people that are like controlling it. The directors. I don't know what her actual title is, but they reached out to me last year, probably June or July, and said, hey, we wanted to talk to you about
so they found you.
Yeah. And so I think happened was and it's still kind of like, I've had like 3 people tell me that they were the reason that I was contacted, but it was probably all 3 of them. Not at once, but like all 3 of them saying, "Hey, we should get Badash down here because he does this stuff. He does it for the Bluff Woods Renaissance Festival. So, kind of shout out to Bluff Woods. It's St. Joe Renaissance Festival.
Oh, okay.
And it's probably 3-4 years old. It's kind of funny because my buddy RJ, he asked me to do it one year, and I'm like, oh man, I don't have time, but yes, RJ, for you, I'll do it. So I filled out their application. I actually got denied. Because I couldn't, maybe they were doing 3 days and I couldn't make the first day or something is what he said. And I was actually relieved. I was like, I don't have time. I can't. And so the next year he wanted me to do it again. It's like, all right, man, I'll do it. And actually it was a remarkably beneficial weekend. So, but it's 2 full days, man. It's a lot. So I was like, oh, this worked, And so the next year I did it again. That was year 2 or 3, the second or third year. I don't know. Anyway, I've done it like 2 or 3 years now. Last year was the last year I did it. Last year was then there was some people that approached my booth and they said, hey, we're from Kansas City Renaissance Festival. We're in charge of XYZ. We want to maybe get you down to Kansas City. And I was like, oh, that's cool. There's no way I can devote 8 weekends to this though.
Yeah.
Wow.
And so it kind of just came about that, like, because I could blend them a cigar and then give them their proprietary blend. They reached out to me and we had a meeting. I was on vacation and I spent like an hour talking to Roger and Cammie. And they really appreciated that I would take the time. I mean, like in this line of work, it's like being a server. You never have a vacation. Like you don't have Christmas. Well, maybe you have Christmas off. You don't have like Easter off. You don't have Mother's Day. You work those days. It's the same thing being a nurse. You don't have your holidays. So like I was like, I can take an hour and have a business phone call. It's fine. So we were up in Montana at outside of Glacier National Park. And I spent some time with them and chatted with them and told them it was too soon to like produce, to manufacture a cigar, to blend it, to manufacture, to get it ready. It wouldn't be ready in time. It would be wet. It would be ammonia filled. It just wouldn't work out. So they took me on and they said if we can do a blended cigar next year, like we would do. So that's how I got connected with it. But it's huge. I mean, the amount of increase of like customers, just like experiencing my product was just massive. So it was a great investment in my time. And so
that's cool. Cousin, have you ever gone to the Renaissance Festival?
Yeah, it's funny that you brought that up because one of the earliest, I don't know if it was a television show or a painting that I saw.
Move your mic toward you.
It was a picture of Pope Alexander VI, and it was during the Renaissance. And he's smoking a cigar.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah, that some of the conquistadors had come to Rome.
That's fresh. That's
present.
Yeah, that's like
to present to the Pope. Yeah. This is what we found in the New World.
Yeah, tobacco.
Cigars, tobacco, gold, and they presented it to the Pope. Pope Sixtus, Alexander Sixtus the Sixth.
I'm gonna call my next blend the Sixth.
There you go. And it's funny because they present him with these gifts, and it's real cool. The conquistadors are dressed, like with their helmets and whatnot. And in the next scene, the guy who was playing the Pope, I don't remember the actor, but he's got his hands behind his back and he's just kind of relaxing. He's got this big stogie sticking out of his mouth, and he's there in the Vatican, just smoking his cigar. And I'm like, wow.
That's
I mean, that is just a cool image that just seared into my brain.
That's cool.
Of the Pope smoking the cigar.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, and that was about 1590.
Right. Didn't Christopher Columbus supposedly invented or found tobacco?
Yeah, it was part of the...
Right?
So, Los Taínos, or the cultures in the islands, were growing tobacco. I think he was even in Florida, maybe?
Yeah.
Like, in the area, they were growing tobacco already and smoking it for ritual, medicinal purposes. Religious and medicinal purposes. But yeah, he would be credited with, like, really monopolizing it and turning it into the cash crop that it became. Think about it. Like you have salt. They had salt, but you had salt in England and in Spain, right? At the time, you had salt. You had a few spices that were there. You had a few fruits that were there. But like, all of a sudden, you start getting these think about every flavor profile that you have right now, and all of a sudden, somebody's coming from somewhere else that was far away with like these flavor profiles you've never experienced before. Fruits you've never experienced before, mangoes or vegetables, like all sorts of stuff that you've never experienced before. Yeah. Think of how life-changing that is. Yeah. And like something like salt, it's so basic that we have all the time. And that's like going again back to like what the good life accessories, that's like that's what I'm all about. Like, let's get away from fast food. Let's get away from the things that are like killing us, that we're eating, that we're being fed, and that's the only option you have. Yeah. Grow your own vegetables in the summer and the spring, get them going. Have your herb garden and just make your own ranch dip, do whatever you want. So, I don't know. But yeah, that's like, So like Christopher Columbus has a high claim to kind of monopolizing tobacco.
Yeah, but that was, it's seared into my mind. And that the memory always comes whenever I'm smoking a cigar, enjoying a cigar, watching the Pope in the Vatican.
It's a good memory.
Yeah,
I'm gonna have to look at that picture.
Yeah,
that's just one of those pictures you need to have blown up and put
I really think like naming a cigar
right next to Scarface.
Say hello to my little friend.
No, that's a good stuff, man. Let's go ahead and jump into onto this next segment that I wanted to. Because earlier you started saying some lingo, then I had no idea what you were talking about. But we were talking coffee.
Yeah, we were talking coffee.
Right.
And that was actually brand names. Agaja. Agaja espresso machine. And then a La Barazza bird grinder. So a bird grinder, it's like just the way that it's instead of a blade grinder like a helicopter blade. It's like mechanisms that like you adjust to go up or down, in the space between these like burrs is smaller or bigger depending on your adjustment, and it crushes the coffee instead of like chopping it up.
Okay.
Because it crushes the coffee into a like the form, whether it be for like drip or for espresso or for whatever you're making. You want it, depending on your filter, you want it to be more coarse or less coarse, you know. So that's what the burr grinder is for.
Okay.
But what else did I say? There's all sorts of terms with tobacco.
Yeah.
I've never heard of Hawkeye. I'm still.
Yeah. Shit, I hope I'm not giving you bad information. But
no, I'm sure it is, man. I just haven't exposed to
Google it.
Yeah, Google it. So here I have here are some terms used to describe cigars.
Okay.
Right, and then some of them I have heard, some of them I have. Okay, we'll start off with wrapper.
Okay, yeah.
Which is
so it's the outer leaf.
Yeah, the leaf that wraps around the outside of the cigar. That's the final leaf.
Yeah, it's kind of like a dress. If you want to take like a that's a what's the word, like misogynize something, but like, you know, woman's dress. You know, like it's the thing that fits tightly around the body of the cigar and just kind of like it's much more it's flawless. The wrapper should be flawless, shouldn't have any defects in it, and it's a handmade product. It's a naturally grown handmade product, so you're going to find defects in it. But in general, when the sorting process takes place, the wrapper tobacco is higher grade.
Okay, please feel free. You can tell us it's like a tortilla around a burrito.
It's like a tortilla.
That's what keeps everything held inside. How about is it the binder or binder? Binder, right?
Binder, yeah.
The leaf that holds the filler together in the mold.
Yep. So when you take your filler, there's three parts. There's the
filler,
because
there's fillers, the tobacco, this which is in the center of the cigar.
Yep. And so there's when we get even deeper into like the different levels of where the tobacco comes out on the plant, right? So you've got the lejero, which is at the top. That's the leaf that provides you the nicotine, the flavor, like the intensity, the strength, but it does not have burn quality at all. So it's at the top of the plant, smaller leaves. The plant is sending all the nutrients to the top to let that plant continue to grow, produce flowers, which they pick off to like, you know, pollinize all the different plants, right? So, but when you get the flowers popping up, then the plant stops growing. So they keep pulling those off. They'll go around and pull those off. Okay. And then the lejero is at the top, stronger. That's all the nicotine's up there. Those need to go in the middle of the cigar, in the middle of the filler. So it's the torcedor. It's their job to like put that tobacco in the middle, with the filler around it. You got the volado, the viso, the seco. You've got those different levels of the plant, which as you go down, it decreases in the intensity or the strength of the flavor, but it increases in combustibility.
Yeah.
And this is tobacco that's been aged for many years after that, right?
Okay.
After it's picked. So it's all up to the torcedor to find the blend of these things and to fit them in the right spot. I mean, it's the same thing with cooking again, you know, like you can have I don't know, chicken parmesan. I'm trying to find it like an analogy where you can ruin it by cooking it wrong or by cooking it too much. You can ruin a cigar by putting the things in the wrong place, right? Yeah. If you only put like I don't know, chicken cordon bleu. If you stuff that chicken, but if you only have like the stuffing on half of it, or if it's like hanging on the outside, then it's not going to cut right. It's not going to have that juiciness that comes out. Yeah. But it's same thing with tobacco. Like you got to put the tobacco leaves in the right spot.
So you say the torcedor, the cigar roller, which is you.
Yeah.
Not only are you a torcedor, but you're also a cocinero.
Cocinero, sí.
Which
cook.
Which you're a cook. So a lot of these words. So, man, your Spanish comes in hand with the cigar world.
Yeah, it does.
So I want to know somebody who doesn't speak Spanish. How do they say these words?
Torcedor.
They got to torcedor. They got to butcher them up.
Yeah. Cocinero.
Cocinero. Yeah. The vitola.
Vitola. Yeah.
The vitola. The name of the cigar, shape and size.
Yep.
Claro.
So a wrapper, like a lighter wrapper. Claro.
Yeah.
Colorado.
Like Will Smith.
Claro.
He's the light skin rapper. That's just a joke. Sorry, maybe I shouldn't have said that. The Maduro.
Maduro, yeah.
That's like a Tupac, a dark brown.
There's
almost black wrapper color. Okay.
There's on Cigar Authority, they call Dave Maduro Dave when he gets mad on the podcast. They call him Maduro Dave. so you guys got to, next time somebody gets angry or hyped up on the podcast, you get on the podcast,
Maduro,
you got to say Maduro, whatever their name is.
Yeah, that's funny. Candela.
Candela, green. Yeah,
the green one.
So I don't. What does that translate to? Candela.
That's a good question.
But it's a green. I know it's a green cigar.
A wrapper leaf that is green in color.
Yeah. So I have one that I release on for St. Patty's Day each year. It's a Candela. Yeah,
okay.
It's gimmick.
Have you ever smoked a green cigar?
So
I'd almost be afraid.
You're like, nah, man, I not smoked a green cigar.
I know, right? Yeah, that's like eating a wrap. You know, a lettuce.
Yeah.
Wrapped chicken.
Oh yeah.
It's kind of gimmicky, but I will say this: it was called the American Selection or American Selection, American Major Selection, something like basically it was America's primary cigar color back in the 40s and 50s. Now, why don't we see the pictures? Well, because everything was black and white back then. They might have been smoking a cigar and it was green, but you couldn't tell. Is my suspicion. But it was the American Selection, American Standard Selection. So that's a name that it has internationally, because it used to be smoked primarily. The majority of cigars were green with a green wrapper. But since then we've moved on. It's that's the thing of the past. But it's gimmicky now. But I released a cigar around St. Patty's Day. It's a green wrapper. It's very mild. It's
what do you call? What's the name of it?
I call it the Lotus Candela.
Okay.
Yeah, there was a hotel in St. Joe years ago called the Lotus Hotel. Just kind of like a throwback, nod to the St. Joe history.
Yeah.
Do you have a cigar named the American Badass?
I don't yet. Maybe I should make one.
How about the Mexican Badass?
We can make one.
And you can throw my name, Mario Garcia.
So that would maybe be this one, the San Andres.
Oh, you go with the dark one. See,
San Andres Maduro. So San Andres is a wrapper that is highly sought after. Mexican San Andres wrapper is.
Really?
Yeah, it's like if you want a dark Maduro, that's what you go for right now. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember you had explained to me, because I was like, well, I want trying to stay away from the dark ones, but you're like, they're usually not.
Sometimes they can have, because of the fermentation process.
Yeah.
You've got these polysaccharides, so like the long chain sugars, but the plant's enzymes, as it's fermenting, will break those down into monosaccharides so that the whatever can eat it. So the plant can use that to eat. So it's from polysaccharides, monosaccharides. A little sweeter. We perceive that sweetness as a vegetal sweetness versus maybe a bitterness when the chains are longer. So yeah, it breaks it down. The plant's enzymes are doing that.
Yeah,
during fermentation.
There's one called the Parejo.
Parejo, yeah.
Yeah, a straight-sided cigar with a rounded or flattened head. Mm-hmm. I'm not gonna lie, I saw that and I first thought it said pendejo, and I had to look at it again. I said, "Oh, it says parejo." Like, really? They said there's a pendejo in there? Yeah.
Culebra, is that on there?
That one sounds really bad.
Culebra.
Because I mean, there's a bad word, culero, and that's that's probably why they didn't put it in here.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
So culebra is snake, serpent,
snake.
Serpent, and or viper specifically, or
it's a rattlesnake.
Rattlesnake. Okay,
I
was thinking it was a specific snake.
Okay.
So culebra, snake. So there's this there's what I take. I take 3 Candela cigars, 3 thin, not Candela. I'm drawing a blank. Long skinny cigars, is that on your list?
I don't see it on here.
Lancero. 3 Lanceros, long skinny cigars.
Mm-hmm. Okay. My
press is about this long. Mm-hmm. So take 3 of them, and I'll roll them like super wet. I'll make sure they're like moist when I'm working with them. And I take a little rubber band and I wrap it around the end, and then I braid it. I braid the cigar. So it's 3 cigars.
Oh, I think I've seen something like that.
Braided, yeah, and it's called a culebra. It's really kind of like unique, and there's a special like story behind it. There's a glorious story, and then there's the real story. The real story is back in the day at these torcedores, if they were found, they got like an allotment of cigars for the day that they could smoke. If they were found smoking a straight cigar, they were said to be embezzling the tobacco. Because if they smoked their culebra, it would be like a wonky, like, you know, it would, because it dries that way when it's braided, and then they take them apart. You don't smoke them all at the same time. You take it apart, and so, but it's like a pixie, not a pixie stick, like a circle straw, you know?
Yeah,
yeah, it's kind of like a circle straw, so it's like kind of wild. But so if they were found to be smoking a straight tobacco or a straight cigar, they were said to be embezzling the tobacco.
Oh,
but
wow.
so that's the real story. But the glorious story that I share is, you know, this is the cigar that you smoke on, you know, the day when you get married and you smoke this cigar with your father and your father-in-law. The three of you become one. Or, you know, if you've got like your three best friends and you're out on a fishing trip, or, you know, out for the weekend, you smoke that cigar with them. Or if you just want 3 cigars in a night, you have that one. So.
Well, I'm gonna have to say it here, Devin. That should have been the 3-peat cigar right there.
Oh man, yeah. Well, I would have had. I don't know anyone that sells culebras reasonably. Okay, because it's a lot of work. It's a very labor-intensive thing. That would be fun, but it would be just like, it's like, I mean, you're talking 3 cigars. For me rolling them, it would just be like far out there. On my 1-year anniversary, there's a lounge up in St. Joe that we do a party at. It's Smooth Innings, and each year with like my cigar company birthday parties there. My first year, maybe it was the second. Anyway, one of the anniversaries, I rolled a bunch of culebras, and they were expensive because it was the cost of 3 cigars. You know.
Okay, I was going to ask what's the cost of one, and how long is it? What's the?
So it's about like this long, and I think
okay.
yeah, but it's like 3 braided together. You know. So I think what it was is it's like almost like nearing, because you talk about $10 per cigar, so it was like plus like
about
30 plus
$40.
$40. Yeah. So it was unreasonably expensive, but that's just the nature of it. Like nobody's gonna make it cost efficiently. You know?
Yeah.
So, but that was they're fun to roll. I mean, when I do a rolling event, sometimes I'll do that at the table because you can do it all. You have to do it all quickly, so. You know, you get the tobacco wet, you binder, then you do the wrapper, and it's all still damp, and then it like has the pliability to be braided. So
we may have to go to the Renaissance Festival just so I can see what rolling cigars looks like.
I'm gonna be sitting there eating my turkey leg, smoking a badass. Hell yeah! Then I'll light my turkey.
You're a little roasted.
Yeah.
Then I'll hit him with my wooden sword.
Oh yeah. I mean, it just sounds interesting, the rolling part and all of that. What you've been talking about.
That's fun. Yeah.
If somebody came to you who's never smoked a cigar and said, Devin, what's the first cigar I should smoke? What would you hand them?
Of mine?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'll ask you, what kind of, if you drink beer, what do you drink? Or do you drink beer or whiskey?
Okay, let's start with me. Okay, I've never smoked a cigar.
Do you drink beer or whiskey?
I drink beer more.
Okay.
And then I would say I drink Carta Blanca.
Carta Blanca. Okay, so you don't drink like a foo-foo like Mike's Hard Lemonade.
Right.
I don't. Yeah. So I would actually say like infused cigars are probably out.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So if you say whiskey and you drink like a mixer with it, like I don't know, like what's a mixer? I don't even know. I don't drink mixers, but so like if you drink like that, the whiskey with maybe like a mixer or a fruitiness of some sort,
or Coke. Let's just say somebody pours Coke in their whiskey.
Or man, I really like my cherry Coke. You know, like you like that infusion of the fruit flavors. Okay, yeah, the Crimson Palate, right? It's an infused cigar. Or, I don't really drink beer, but man, if I ever get a latte, it's a pumpkin spice latte. Well, the pumpkin spice latte cigar, right? So, but if you're talking about like, okay, do you drink beer or whiskey? Let's say beer. You said Carta Blanca. It's a little bit lighter. I would say the Compton box pressed Cameroon. It's not too overpowering with strength. It's not too light, but it's not. If you said Miller Lite, I would say like GQ, just the straight GQ. GQ Maduro, a lot more flavor on that. That's if you're like drinking Negra Modelo or maybe like a lighter whiskey. You kind of pair it to like the drink, and like the intensity of the drink equals the intensity of the cigar, and I just know my line. So
I think if I would have said Miller Lite, you probably would have said try another beer.
Yeah, ultimately that's what I would have said. Yes. After owning it.
Okay, you don't need a cigar. You first get yourself another beer.
Let's get you
here's a pack of cigarettes.
Let's get you a
Swisher Sweet.
Swisher Sweet.
Yeah.
Lucky Strikes.
There you go. That's right. Okay, and then I said, okay, thank you. I like this cigar, but what's a good cut?
Okay, there's a number of different cut methods.
What's your favorite?
For me, I'm really digging a V cut.
Okay.
So like
I was just introduced to that V cut.
Yeah. So I think purists will say like guillotine cut. That's really the only way.
Mm-hmm.
Now, some people like a punch. I will say a punch I probably don't do anymore.
Okay, and then I was doing the punch before
There's a time and a place for everything,
yeah.
just like drinks, you know. But the punch, so you've got like you've got the neck of the cigar, and you've got a little hole right there. As you're drawing, all the tars, the tobacco, the moisture, everything's hitting that, and it's just coming right down into the little hole, and you can taste that. Mm-hmm. It changes. Really.
Yeah, changes the game, right? Uh-huh. So like, okay, so when I would punch, take a couple draws first.
Uh-huh.
Do you recommend that?
Cold draw, absolutely.
A cold draw.
100% of the time you need to do cold draw
for any cut.
Anything, but especially.
Are you aware of that, cousin?
Mm-mm.
Yeah. Once you cut the cigar, just get yourself some.
No, and when they did that special cut for us at the shop.
Yeah, which Dave did it for us. He did the V cut for us.
Such a good dude.
Yeah. I said, Dave, and I knew what he was going to do. And I said, Dave, here's a cigar. Cut it for me. What's the best one? He did that V. You know, he did it for the both of us.
Yeah. If there could be like a clone of Dave to just have like in every aspect of life, just like a good, benevolent human being that like has attention to detail and has attention to like my brain is always just like rapid fire all over the place all the time. And like I've had to stop myself and like say, like I'm not. Dave is such a good dude, and like there's like depth to him, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember one time I was trying to like tell Mike something, and I felt so bad that I was like not giving Dave attention because I was trying to. Anyway, that's a whole other story. But like, just there needs to be more. I've always joked about this, like there being this benevolent society of people that like go around and they monitor people, and then if somebody's being like a dipshit or like a bad person, like they get marked by people like Dave. They just say that guy doesn't deserve to be alive. And then after, like, if you get marked like 10 times in your life, you just get vaporized. I don't know how the technology is not there yet, but Dave would be like one of those benevolent people that would be, you don't get to run for this office. You have to be nominated.
There you go.
From other people that see you as being a benevolent human being. So
no, Dave, he is a really, really good dude.
He's such a good dude.
When he came in here, I don't know. I know you said you listened to half of that episode or whatnot, but when we had him in here and he started talking about being the park ranger, well, so I'm giving him shit about being the park ranger, and I clearly pictured in my head that he was a Mountie up in Canada, wearing the big hat up on a horse, and I'd say, Dave, so you ride your horse around Pearson Park looking for people in their cars and doing stuff they're not supposed to be doing, or what do you?
I've been waiting for a time to reference the big hat with the big hat because you guys kept referencing it. So I listened to that 36 minutes before it cut off.
Yeah, but then I apologize for that.
No, it's fine. But what I was saying is I started to. Well, it was playing. I was not watching while I was driving, but it was playing in the background. I got to listen to more of the episode.
Oh, okay.
So,
I have Mr. Mike Simmons coming in here in about a month or so.
He's a good dude too.
Yeah,
like,
he is.
Just like two of the best dudes in the world. Like, I mean, I credit Mike for my presence in Kansas City.
Yeah,
because he took I don't want to say a chance, but a chance. It kind of goes back to, you said, what are the biggest like struggles that you find in the cigar industry? It's like getting a chance to chat with people and convince them that they should take on the cigars. And that was Mike, and I'm indebted to him for his chance. And it was so cool. Like I remember he reached out, and I was like, I hadn't heard of this. He was getting ready to open. I hadn't heard of this place.
Yeah.
And I Googled it. I was like, oh my gosh, because it was like a picture of him from that balcony.
Crazy.
And I'm like, this is the example of what a cigar lounge. I remember just thinking, I was blown away. Brick and mortar walls, wood floor from 1880s. Like it's the, and I'm constantly referencing the layout. All the chairs are put together facing one another to foster conversation. There's one TV in the place, and it's not the focal point. It's not.
Like here, right?
Yes, yeah. And that TV is not the focal point. It's kind of a side note. There'll be weather or a game or whatever playing.
Yeah.
But for the big games, the big screen comes out.
They
right?
put the big screen down.
But like and there's the music, and we talked about music. I'm not a big fan of live music, but like I like that style and then the vibe there. So
yeah, it's a good vibe. It's a good hangout. I enjoy going there. Of course, I come home and you smell like smoke. Yeah.
Well, but think about like if you went to some other lounges and other places in North Kansas City, you don't have those high ceilings. That dissipates a lot of the smoke. Like less likely to smell of smoke with that high ceiling and the ventilation there.
Yeah, cigars and tobacco. I've been there a few times.
Oh yeah. Because
I heard you mention it earlier when you had a meeting,
and that was like a really small room. You know, like we were crammed in there, but it was necessary to like have all of us crammed in there to sample the cigar, kind of a private area. But
I don't know how is it. I'm sure we're talking about the same one.
Yep. There's a
Metcalf Avenue.
I'm not
Overland Park. I don't know if you're familiar with that.
I've been there a few times and kind of stumbled.
Yeah, that's where that's where I started buying my cigars.
Cool.
And then the Outlaw, I bought them there. Once or twice.
I barked up the Outlaw's tree for months. Like I left the owner like 6 times. I left a 6-pack for him, and I never heard back. So, I get it. Like, again, going back to like, and I understand. Like I just don't fit what he wants. He has one boutique brand. It's his.
Okay.
I would encroach on the sales maybe, but so I'm not barking up the tree. It was kind of funny. I had this expectation when I came out the gate that everyone in Kansas City would want the local cigar that was rolled in their backyard, St. Joe. It took months, man, years, matter of fact, before I had like one little small whiskey beard. I had my cigars for a while, and then after that, it was I was kind of like trying to get into Fidel's. And Phil, Perdomo Phil, was the manager at the time, and he took me on. And then since then, the sales, new ownership, and the sales have kind of fallen off. But and again, I get it. Like maybe I don't fit what they want to do, and that's fine. I'm not going to push. I'm not going to bark up the tree. I do have a buddy though who's very passionate about my brand, and I kind of have my approach to certain lounges, and like if I will or won't go there trying to sell. And he's like, "Hey, are we in this place yet?" And one time I was busy and I couldn't respond to him, and I'd already decided that I wasn't gonna like be pushing on Fidel's. They had cigars, but they weren't making reorders, and I guess he like showed up and like started talking with the owner about like what badass do you have in the lounge, and he was representing my company, but like I did not send him. And so it was just a kind of a tricky situation, but
that's cool.
So, anyway.
That room right there is a sauna.
Yeah, but you're gonna turn it into a humidor.
Yes, believe me, I've thought about it because it's all what is it, oak in there, and
yeah, no wood rot. Yeah,
right.
Perfect,
that would be a perfect spot,
perfect.
Right?
You can maybe.
How about can I have a sauna and humidor at the same time?
Well, there would be too much humidity and too much heat. So what would happen is the cigars would swell and split.
Really?
Yeah, they would swell and split. But if you had a main, anybody's be like, he should not suggest this at all. But like if you had it on a cart that you could pull out and control the humidity level while the cigars are in there, and then pull it out and like crank it down.
Yeah.
That would be pretty insane.
Yeah.
I mean, I would come and sit in the sauna with you.
And smoke
and
cigars.
Smoke a cigar.
How dope would that be? That'd be pretty dope. Yeah. But before we jump to our next, I have to ask you guys, and I'm going to ask everybody here as well, what are some smells that you guys enjoy? Like when you go somewhere and you smell something and you're like, this is it. Like to me, a cigar shop, a cigar lounge, I've always thought was cool. Just going there and just get that aroma of the cigar smell, right? Yeah. Another spot for me would be a tire shop.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah, I can go into like a tire shop, like you buy tires. Yeah, I think it smells good.
Yeah, I enjoy that smell. I mean, I wouldn't have thought it to be like one of my top 10.
Yeah. I mean, is there any place that you go in?
Well, so
I mean, it could be anything.
Yeah. Okay. So for me, my earliest memory ever, the first thing I remember, my dad's a professor before the clean air facility. Okay. So when you could still smoke inside.
Oh, yeah.
So I remember toddling down the halls at Missouri Western State University, where he was a professor, and I remember the puke green walls of different shades, green, yellows, like puke green, puke yellow, and just like these panels. And I remember toddling down the hall and his pipe smoke wafting out of his office. Earliest memory. Pipe smoke.
Yeah, that's another one. Haven't smelled that in a long time,
But outside of that, there's a lilac bush that was at Missouri Western, and I just loved walking past it. And I would pick flowers from this bush when they were in season, and I would just go into class.
Would you put them in your hair?
No, I had long hair. I was trying to say like as heterosexually as I can. I pick these flowers and
but just throw some curse words behind it while you're talking about it. I found these fucking flowers. I think, just.
But that outdoors, man, just like being able to be outside and smell like the smell of mountain pine wood, you know, like just being in the mountains and how fresh, and you get that whiff of cedar or just that pine tree. I mean, that's it. Or walking through the woods in this area where you have like decomposing trees and like the leaf litter in the fall and just those are being outdoors is like my thing. Yeah. So if I can, if I can smell that.
For us, we do that on the outdoors, but then we come inside.
Eyes,
scratching them,
and I feel so bad for people that have allergies that they can't.
Cousin right here, he misses days of his week because of allergies.
Oh my gosh! Wow. Yeah. Coffee too, you know.
That's another one. A coffee shop. You know, I'm sure, you know, your shop, your coffee, it's got to smell good there. I mean, of course, we had the coffee going here. I don't know what happened.
We forgot. We didn't get to drink it.
That's just. I was really looking forward to drinking some coffee.
It's getting kind of late now to drink your cup.
Oh shit! I did that a couple of nights ago. I was telling my wife.
Until the wee hours in the morning.
It was so horrible. I did not go to sleep until probably 3 a.m.
I'm like, why? Why did you drink coffee that late?
I was watching the basketball. I'm a big New York Knicks fan. They're on TV. I'm like, oh, I need something sweet, something good. I'll make me some coffee.
Latte,
I made me a nice latte, strong. I paid for it. Oh, my stomach. Man, it was horrible. I couldn't believe I did that. But anyway, was there is anything that come up to mind, Chris? I know Cane's.
No.
Oh, what, Chris?
An indoor pool.
Ah, there you go.
Oh, the chlorine.
Yeah, the chlorine smell. Yeah. Which actually, I should say, when we bought this house in 2001, this room here smelled like chlorine.
Wow.
Because that room there actually we had a hot tub.
Oh, okay.
So the previous owner was using it.
Wow.
And the whole house smelled like chlorine.
Wow.
Yeah.
So this house was like, this room was like really strong with chlorine. So that's one thing. When I smell chlorine, that's one of the first things I think about. Is
memory.
When we walked into this house, taking a look, and we're like, it smells like a pool in here, you know?
Yeah.
You know,
that's a good one, Chris.
The other thing with cupping that we're learning, the processes of cupping for the coffee roastery. Like I said earlier, my nares are permeated with the coffee, like with when you're doing like a cupping process and sampling it and the roasting. Yeah, I'm enjoying that too. But and just like grilled steak, I just it doesn't last long enough, you know, because you don't like overcook it.
Right.
You gotta see it. So it's like 10 minutes you get to experience it, and then
But you know, and the other one is not too often do I do this, but when I step into a library, you know, the smell of books, some old books, new books, stuff like that.
Yeah, my daughter would agree with that.
And a lot of those, and then when you do stuff like that, when you get that, you smell something. That's like you said, it brought back memories.
Yeah.
That's what it does. And
such a strong memory jogger.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought. Cool stuff. I don't know. You guys have anything?
No.
No.
I had Sunday mornings with my grandmother, my mother's mother.
Yeah.
My parents were disco bunnies. And they'd go out dancing Saturday night and leave me at my grandmother's overnight. And the next morning, my grandmother would make menudo.
Oh,
So
nice.
that they could all come and, it's a hangover.
Is this our grandma
Yeah.
or okay? Our grandmother, yeah.
And,
Okay.
Cool. That's awesome.
My mother's mother, and it's his grandma as well.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I remember getting up early, and she would do whatever it was that the menudo needed, and then off we would go down the street to a place called Kiko's, and it was a bakery. And
Is that around here?
No, this is in El Paso,
Texas.
Texas.
Paso. Wow. So you guys like separated and came back together, or like you're both up here now? I mean.
Yeah, our parent. Well, go ahead and finish the story.
Okay.
Yeah. And
Yeah. So the bakery, walking into Kiko's, I thought even as a little kid, I thought if heaven had a smell, it was the smell of
the
fresh baked bread.
Nice.
Especially the francesitos, the French bread that she bought in just. I carried these big bags of French bread for the menudo, and I would have one in the car. It was just fresh out of the oven. And the taste and the smell of it, just whenever I smell it, or just walk into a regular bakery, just it reminds me of times with my grandmother.
We went to Kyrgyzstan in 2023. Turned 40. And we did this 3-week trip. Went to flew a quarter of the way around the world to go to UK. And we're like, well, we're here. Let's just go another quarter of the world, to go halfway around the world to go to Kyrgyzstan. We had friends that were in missionaries there, and so we went to spend a weekend in Kyrgyzstan. Have you guys ever even heard of Kyrgyzstan?
No.
Yeah, it's in East Asia, Central Asia.
Is that where Borat's from?
Yeah, it's from Borat's from.
I wonder if there was one little bit
nice.
My wife.
It's very nice.
It's the shirt is a black or not. That was so funny. Anyway, they had this there was a style of bread that they would have these these bowls, and there would be a fire outside the bowl, under the bowl, I don't know. But this thing would get hot, or maybe even stone, I don't know. But they would take these dough balls, and they would slap it up against the wall, and it would just sit there and cook, and it would bake, and it was so good.
Yeah,
fresh. That was you just drive by and grab one. They were everywhere. But
Really?
that was my recent fresh baked bread, fresh. I don't even know what to call it, fried. I don't know. Fresh cooked.
All right. If there was a celebrity that you can smoke a cigar with, dead or alive, who would you be?
Dead or alive? I mean, heck, man, I just spaced the past 6 months trying to get Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce to smoke my cigars. I don't know. I think it would be cool to experience that. I think Winston Churchill would be cool.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody that understands cigars, but also Dave Garofalo. You guys, that's the guy who started Two Guys Smoke Shop in New Hampshire. He has done more for the tobacco industry, for the cigar industry, not just. Okay,
is he a celebrity?
Well, he's
in the cigar world.
They call him a cigar celebrity.
Nice.
Cigar celebrity. Yeah.
Nice.
Very nice.
Very
nice.
nice. Very nice.
And so I think, with him, I mean, a realistic have an opportunity to smoke a cigar, but he's such a busy dude. I don't think he would make the time.
Yeah,
I don't
probably to him it was just I'm just smoking a cigar. What do you need? What do you want from me? Yeah.
It's let's talk business.
Yeah.
But Travis. I mean, it would be cool to Travis Mahomes, Travis Kelce, Patrick Mahomes. It would be cool to have a cigar with one of them. But it's just funny. It's interesting how many people I've met so many reps of different cigar companies. Just being at the lounge at the right time with them to hear their story and kind of see where they're coming from. It's pretty cool.
Do you have Would you like to smoke a cigar with a celebrity?
I don't know if it's a celebrity, but a historical figure.
Christopher Columbus, the Pope,
Alexander VI.
There we go.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, actually, Aristotle.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. Some of those like. There's a lot of historical figures that would be cool. I mean, just to sit down and chat with. But yeah, I'm trying. Yeah, I mean, this would require a lot of thought to like determine who I could get the most from, if I were to spend time uninterrupted like conversation. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ask me, cousin.
Who's it?
Cousin.
Oh, what's up?
Who would, dead or alive? Who would you smoke a cigar with?
You know what? That's a good question.
Thank you.
I've always thought.
Yeah, we can move on now.
Okay. I think Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Yeah.
Yeah. The Gobner.
Honestly, yes. Him, Sylvester Stallone,
Sly.
like, dude, just like he's like, no, the cigar. I don't know. That was a horrible Sylvester Stallone impression, but like,
Who was that guy?
you know, or Al Pacino or
Al Pacino?
Al Pacino.
Al Pacino.
Yeah.
Yeah. Smoke a cigar with Pacino, De Niro, Pesci.
Yeah.
Shit, that's put Arnold in there.
Yeah.
And Arnold.
How do you guys call it gangsters? What's up with these gangsters? Yeah.
All the guys from the Expendables.
Yeah. Jordan, Michael Jordan.
Yeah.
He's always he still smokes cigars while he golfs.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Fidel, JFK, females, Beyonce, the Kardashians. They all smoke. They all smoke. J-Lo, she smokes cigars.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why
not?
There was a.
Why not?
There was a post I sent to my daughters recently. It was. I gotta find. We can continue talking about some of this. It'll take me a brief moment to encounter this though. But.
Yeah, no, that's cool. But yeah, I was just thinking about that. I was like, man, that'd be cool. Just like people say, they want to smoke weed. They smoke weed with Willie Nelson, Snoop Dogg, stuff like that. Yeah. Even John Travolta smokes cigars. That'd be dope. Yeah. All right. But Devin, before we end, when you find it, before we end, I need to know, what are your favorite restaurants?
Okay.
I know you like to cook. You said you like to cook, but do you have
my
favorite restaurants?
Favorite place to get food is something my wife cooks, but
okay.
And that's not just the canned answer. She's awesome. But then in St. Joe, there's a place called RC Lunch Car. Okay. And this guy, Aaron Mulder, he had, I think, does he remember like Blanc Bottles, Blanc Burger on the plaza? They had one in Lincoln too. He was, I think he was like the head chef there, but burger place, just like a really, not just a hamburger, but like this guy's got such a creativity. Like he's got a peanut butter and jelly hamburger. I mean, this place it's eccentric, but it's like really good food.
Really?
Yeah. RC Lunch Car, if you ever get up to St. Joe. And
anything here?
In KC?
When you guys come to KC, is there a spot that you guys hit?
I wish I could show you this stuff here. These are like RC's ahi hibachi sandwich featuring ginger wasabi aioli, soy vinaigrette, slaw, hibachi style veggies, sesame encrusted ahi tuna. I mean, it's
that's just, all between buns.
That's yes. It's wild, man. So yeah, it's wild. So that place is cool. So in Kansas City, we like there's like some Thai places we eat. There's a Vietnamese place over in like kind of near Paseo.
Okay,
we'll go there. We just like to try like something that's real with some character, and it's not just about like. It's not about price. It's not about volume. It's about like unique food. But you know what? Also, man, like whenever if I come down and I'll swing by a lounge, I'll grab from it's El Taco Viejon. They've got a taco truck in Northtown, but they've also got like a shop down by like KU.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's El Tacos Viejon. El Viejon. I'll grab like a bunch of tacos from there and then just take them wherever and eat them. That's a street tacos is a good place.
Yeah. How about any barbecue?
Yeah, Slaps is great. That's
down the street from the shop. Yeah.
Yep. And I'll funny story. The first time, or one time when I was sitting there, Mike and I had a buddy Steve with me. We were just BSing, and I'm like, I'm hungry. You guys hungry? Let's get some food, and I'll order some barbecue for us. And so he's like, yeah. And I Googled slaps, and I clicked, and I started. He's telling me like what I should order. I'm picking these things, and I'm like, oh, it doesn't quite sound exactly right, but I'm clicking this is what I think Mike's talking about. I'll be ready in 15 minutes. All right, I'm gonna go get it. So I go to Slaps, and I paid for it online before I left. I go to Slaps. They said, "What's your name?" And I said, "Devin Ashley." And they said, "Oh, I don't have an order for that. Well, what's your phone number?" I give my phone number, and they're like, "There's nothing under that number. Did you get an email receipt?" I was like, "Yeah." So I pulled out my email and got on my email, and I'm getting ready to tell the confirmation number, and I'm like, apparently I ordered barbecue from what was it called? It's a place like 10 miles down the road. I just they had an ad, and when I Googled Slaps, the other one came up. Ravenwood or
Hayward?
No,
Haywood?
It's down the road. It's about 10.
Rosedale. I don't know.
What?
Rosedale.
Yes, Rosedale. Yeah, Rosedale Barbecue. And so
Okay, yeah.
Rosedale or something.
Literally down the road.
Yeah, down the road.
Down 7th Street. Yeah.
I'm like, oh man, where's this place at? And she's like, oh, they all kind of laugh. She's like, just get on the highway and go down. And I was like, oh my gosh. So I did. I went down and I picked up the barbecue from the different barbecue place.
That's
so
funny.
like a 5-minute trip. Should have been like a 5-minute trip. It was like a 25-minute trip. I was gone for quite
That's
some time.
funny.
Yeah, that Slaps is good. When I owned the brewery, Liberty Cap, I would come down to Fox Brewing Supplies every once in a while, and I would, it's one of those times when you realize, like, what am I doing in life right now that this is taking away from my kids. And I was brewing, and like I would take my youngest daughter. She was like 3 or 4 at the time but she didn't care. I mean, now I look back, it's like she didn't care what we were doing. She was hanging out with dad.
Yeah.
She was playing with grain while I was weighing out like hundreds of pounds to make that next batch, and she was just playing with it, and she was drawing in the dirt or the dust at the warehouse, all the stuff. Anyway, but she would be like, "Yeah, Dad, let's go get some meat shop sandwiches." Oklahoma Joe's.
Okay.
So or Joe's, Kansas City Joe's.
Yeah.
Kansas City Joe's. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Funny.
We had that today.
Did you?
Yeah.
Yeah, they were talking about that on the New Heights, Travis Kelce, and they were talking about that Jason Kelsey's favorite spot barbecue is the Oklahoma Joe's, which is Casey Joe's now, but the gas station.
Yeah, the original.
You can't go wrung when there's oil on your.
The paramedics, whenever they would transfer a patient down to KU or wherever,
they have to stop there.
Yeah, they would always stop there, and they would always, like, if there was a new student, like a paramedic student or a new paramedic or a new EMT, they wouldn't prep them and saying, you've got to have your order ready before you arrive at the counter, or else if you're like, I'm not sure, if you start asking questions, they'll be like, next, like have the next person like bypass you, and
that's funny.
So yeah, it's always that tells you it's a good spot when there's line out the door and they sell out every day. Boudreaux's is another place in St. Joe. It's just like a seafood Louisiana. They got like alligator tail, so it's pretty good. Yeah.
All right, Mr. Badass, I appreciate you coming in, man.
Thanks for letting me come on and enjoy it.
Thank you for joining us.
Thanks a lot.
This is good stuff. And we started off kind of rocky, but we got.
Yeah, that's all right,
we made the cookies were good. Yeah, very, very good.
Thanks,
Ollie. Very, very good.
Ollie. Yeah, Ollie made those.
Thank you so much, Ollie. Yeah.
Social lubricant kicked in.
Yeah, but again, appreciate you, man. Thank you so much, man. Yeah. And if there's anything we can do to help you, sell some cigars, let's do it, man. Yep.
Yeah.
I'll fill up that humidor with your cigars, and I'll sell them out of here for you, man. Awesome. Yeah, thank you, cousin. But and thank you, cousin, for joining us. Thank you for joining us as well.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah. He was actually my very first episode. Episode 1. Yeah, and we are actually at 132.
132. Awesome.
132. Yeah.
Awesome.
So
this is podcast number 3 for me to interview on. But
thanks. Yeah. All right. Thank you, sir.
Yep.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for listening. Thank you for watching the Big Modcast. Until next week, peace out.